Oh, what cookie? Oh,
Hear
what's
me?
this? Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I can barely hear you. Is that mine?
Oh,
How do I do that?
let's see. Maybe I can might make my microphone. Maybe.
Ah, I can hardly hear you. There must be a volume on this somewhere, huh? Sound. There's the sound. Um,
Yeah, keep
um,
it loud.
there we go. That's better.
You hear pretty good.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, perfect. I haven't gone live yet. I'm just getting everything else started here.
Yeah, me too. Figured I better go pee before I.
Oh, of course.
You know how I jump up and like disappear for a few seconds?
Yeah, and we never mentioned about that. We never talk. We never say nothing. Nobody ever
So
says a
nice
word
of you
about
guys. But I did eat. I did eat some enchilada today. So
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of cheese in it.
Uh-huh. Wow.
It's So
So
I
you
might just.
so you're saying that you might have to go poopy later.
Yeah. And
Well, no,
say
we won't tell nobody.
issues.
That'll be our secret. Even though I'm recording this episode right
I was
now.
just gonna say, it's told me you were live already.
Well, yeah, well, not live, like live, but like recording. Like I haven't set up
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
This is for the YouTube version.
Yes.
So I was trying to tell you before about, like YouTube version, you get everything from start to finish, and then the live is just whenever I decide to click live, and then we go, and then we start. It just, picks up from wherever I started it to, which is kind of stupid, but I should just do it the right way and do it both ways. But I figure, you get a little extended bonus, with
Uh,
this.
I don't know. You don't seem like the kind of guy that does it both ways.
Ah, oh, I go both ways, I tell you. As she spits out her coffee or her booze or whatever that cup did.
It's ice water.
Are you sure it's ice water or is it not ice tequila?
Well, it's definitely not tequila. I want to make it through the whole show.
Oh, you don't be passed out or whatever.
Yeah, tequila and gin. No, I learned my lesson with that. I can't drink tequila or gin when I'm doing the show, especially if I'm doing it from a car.
Yeah. I gotta try something.
Those were the days, huh?
Yeah, when we're just little kids and everything, we just love to drink and everything. Such a good time.
Oh,
I'm gonna check out something here. So we're not live yet on the Facebook yet. I'm trying to see something because I downloaded that OBS software that Paul was telling me about. It's a different type of software to for broadcasting. It's free and everything. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with it, but we're trying to configure Zoom with it so that it would be better for everybody. So that if I'm playing like an audio track, I could play an audio track and everybody could hear it, and the audience could hear it too, or whatever. That's what I like to do. I like to figure out how to do all that stuff because I feel
Say,
like our show is good, but it's like it's kind of bland sometimes when it, you know.
I'm kind of wondering if I'm using the microphone that's on the computer itself, or can you hear this?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You hear that tapping?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I tap
So
it.
that so that it that is the mic hot?
Is it hot? Are you hot?
Is it hot? Is it hot? Or is it the computer? Is it the computer?
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't tell. As long as you can hear me, I guess it doesn't matter. Because
I
he
can
already had it hooked up from his last interview. So,
sure.
but I don't know if I have to switch
How
it.
how did that go anyway? Did it go pretty good as far as the
Uh,
interview went?
which one? That was the music on the couch one.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all audio. It's not
Oh,
video, but yeah, it sounded good. We listened to it when he was over here, and we were listening to it over there. And
oh, that's cool.
Vinny does a good interview.
Yeah.
But yeah, today I was doing um the press release because as of May 5th, he's going to be on the largest syndicated blues radio show, Blues Deluxe, that is
Okay.
broadcast worldwide, like tens of thousands of radio stations. The closest one is KLLZ, the Loon. Is that what it's called? Something.
I have no idea.
I actually have that written down. Blues Deluxe plays. Wait, where is it? KLLZ, yeah, the Power Loon.
Oh, okay.
That's the closest radio station that plays the Blues Deluxe.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, his new album's on the charts again. Debuted at number 14.
Oh, so
So
good thing.
we're excited about that. So I did the whole press release thing, and
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm surprised he didn't put the album on Spotify this time because I
he
I was
it
gonna look for it on Spotify. I couldn't find it at all.
it will be. It will be. We
Oh,
just
just
got
like
that. We just got it. We got that taken care of on Friday, so they might
oh.
not have put it up yet, but it's on YouTube.
Yeah, that's where I'd seen that on YouTube.
But
That's
yeah,
cool. You
there's
showed that
like different
photo of that
promoters you
spot.
go through or different distributors you go through,
Uh-huh.
and the one we were having trouble getting into his account on the one, so weren't
Oh,
able to do that until Friday.
I see. I see. Let's see. Oh, let's see. It looks like it's not gonna shoot. Let's try it.
Oh, that's good ice water.
All right, well, we'll just not use that then. We'll just use how we normally do, I guess.
Mm.
It's okay. Okay, I'm gonna just get the live ready here.
Anybody else going to be on the
It
free
should
show? Or?
be. I mean, I asked. Well, Michael should be out here pretty soon, and Mr. Massey,
Yeah,
he'll be coming in pretty
yeah.
soon.
He kind of took over that first interview last time. Huh? I was like,
Yeah, didn't let me do an intro or nothing, just like, boy, you gotta, don't you? I mean, I guess he really does, hasn't really watched much of our past episodes, so he doesn't really know kind of how it kind of just goes. I think he just thinks he just kind of go into it. It's like, no.
hey,
We kind of
there's
like
other
to
people here.
introduce.
Hello.
Yeah, we like to introduce a little bit, but it was just he likes that type of stuff, and I
I
like
think
that type of stuff too.
I
But
think
it's
he
like,
figured it out. I think once we got to the second guest, I think he kind of figured it out. Uh,
yeah,
like I think I may have stepped on his toes a little bit. I was going to say something else, something my cook says to me all the time. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your dick.
oh, sure,
Sorry,
yeah,
I had it laid out like that. Sorry.
absolutely.
But yeah, I wasn't trying to step on his toes. I
Sorry
wanted
for
to remind him the rest of us are there too,
yeah, sorry for pointing.
Oops.
I tell you.
I got it. I got it. I got all excited. Oops, wrong.
Oh, because I
Freaking.
points at you.
Yeah, no, I was the wrong. No, I've got my laptop going on here too, and I was hitting something on it and was
Sure,
trying to do something else.
I
Okay,
get you.
there we go.
All right, so let's see. So I got the live going now. So we are live. What's up, everybody here on Facebook world and whatnot, and the internet. We're doing another pre-show. I know I said I wasn't going to do another pre-show if we only had one guest, but I figured, you know what? A few people actually at the casino when I was working there came up to me and said they actually kind of liked the idea, and I'm just like, yeah, but we don't really do much, you know. It's like, but we like it. We like a lot more about when you guys do your thing because they find us very funny, you know.
Ah, looks and
Very
smell aren't everything though, but they can't smell us, so.
no, no. If they could, they'd probably be like, "Boy, light a match." I tell you, jeez. You know
Oh,
all the
somebody
farting
just
that goes,
asked me how to find it.
all
Okay.
the farting that goes on here. You know, I'll tell you, that's why. That's
Oh, somebody just asked me on my post as I get the link. Okay.
yeah. And I guess Mad Dog isn't going to be joining us again. He's too busy working, which yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. I
Well,
mean,
people need to make money, you know.
I'm
Why
not. Well,
can't
I thought he was retired. I thought he didn't need any more money. I thought he's like good. You know.
I'm not
Like anyone
seeing
can, just want to keep working, till the day they get so old where they don't even know who they are anymore. You know? Like, I figure what's enough, kind of. You know, enjoy your life when these are the golden years, right? Aren't they supposed to
right?
be? I mean, geez, that's what I say. I mean, who knows what'll happen to me when I get older? I mean, it's hard to say, but anyway, so yeah.
Wow. My freaking laptop is glitching out. I might have to.
See, that's why I'm glad I didn't come down there because that would have been an issue because I don't have an extra laptop.
So
You
I've
know,
got to do it this way, I guess.
yeah. Well, we can't have glitchiness, no matter how
No
good.
glitching.
Son of a glitch, I tell you. I dealt with that
Son
enough.
of a glitch.
I dealt with that enough when I was with Red Rider in Rapid City. He always glitched all the time. He thought he had everything figured out. He still glitched. What's up, Mikey?
Hey,
How,
hey, hey, what's up?
oh, not much. We get an outside shot today. That's nice.
Yeah, you gotta do that. You gotta throw it away. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. You see Mikey's adventures out in nature again. You.
Yeah, out by the dumpster. Come join me.
Hey, that's actually a fun time. You know, I enjoyed it.
Hey, I gotta go to the dumpster. I don't know. It's better than taking a dump, though. You don't want to see me taking a dump, so
No, no,
Well, you
no.
could
might
just
as
quote
well
that
be
as
the
a,
dump,
Yeah.
you could
the
quote that as
dump.
your video. You know, you could be like, "I'm going to go take a dump. Come follow me."
Come follow me. Come follow me on my adventures.
Yeah, yeah. The dump world.
Yay,
You know, to talk to Captain Dump and everything.
Captain Dunker.
See, it's called having imagination, Mikey. Remember imagination?
Yeah.
Imagination.
Ah, come on. You know Pee Wee Herman? Pee Wee Herman was great.
Oh yeah, yeah. Pee Wee Herman, let's go take a dump.
Come on. Come with me, kids.
Oh, gee.
All right, all right.
Come on, that's enough of
I
that.
forgot to tell you that Mikey knows how to do some voices sometimes. Just that,
Sometimes.
just that's when he's talking to himself and he's talking to other voices and everything. And so just
Yeah.
so you know.
Yeah. Or Yoda. You see Yoda.
Well, we're doing our pre-show right now, and I wasn't going to do a pre-show like I was telling Mama T, but the people that came up to me at the casino that watched our show actually thought they like to see more of us because they find us funny. You know.
Really? So we should
It
just
must
do
be our
us.
looks, because looks and smell aren't everything, and they can't smell us. So
Well, maybe they
Yeah,
should.
that's true.
Maybe they should invent that. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
smell-o-vision, no, thank you.
For those that are
Melody.
for
I don't
those
want
that
to
are
smell
wondering,
anybody that's been sitting in front of their computer all day. Thank you.
why not?
Mm. Why not?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with that?
I showered yesterday. I'm good.
You
Yeah,
showered
I
last
showered
week.
about a
That's
week
enough,
ago.
right?
Here, smell my armpit. Smell my armpit. Come on.
It's been about a
Oh,
month
gee.
since I took a shower.
Well, the
Mhm.
reason why we don't just have it just be us is because I always believe that, it's nice to like I believe in the talk show format. I always believed in that. And that's kind of what kind of triggered me doing some of these interviews back in the day because I always thought it was kind of fun. It was to me it's more fun than playing music sometimes because anybody can play music on a show and anybody can talk on a show. But when you have a guest on, that's kind of, draws more viewers, I think, anyway. What do you think?
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah. Depending on who it is. Who is it today, tonight?
tonight it is Justin Race, and you're probably
What's he
wondering
do?
who the hell is that? Well,
Yeah, who the
he
hell is
is
that?
the son of the legendary former NWA wrestling champion and Hall of Famer Harley Race.
Hmm. Harley race?
Yeah, you were a wrestling
I
fan,
don't
weren't
know.
you, back in the day,
I
Mikey? I
was,
mean, you thought you
I
did.
was,
I thought you watched a little
yeah,
wrestling
back
back
in
in.
the 70s, but this wasn't the 70s, right? This is
Yeah,
more.
this is like NWA. This is like when he wrestled like 300 days a year, and sometimes his matches would go like an hour. I
Did
mean,
he
remember
play
that?
here in North Carolina? Did they do in North Carolina? I
I'm sure
wonder.
they did. He kind of. I think he lived around. He's from Kansas. I mean, so
Ten.
but like
Mm.
they did a lot of Southern stuff because WCW was like all about Southern territories and stuff. If you remember that World Championship Wrestling
Yeah, yeah, I
back
remember
in the
that.
day. Yeah,
He
they were
was,
Is
out of
that the days?
Atlanta.
Was he in the days of Ric Flair and
Yeah.
all those other people?
Oh, absolutely. They just did a Dark Side of the Ring special on him, just
Really?
like a couple months ago or whatever. And
he
Justin
was,
was interviewed. I
yeah,
didn't
he
even
was
check
a
this out.
heavyweight champ like 7 times. What's like,
Yeah,
Heavyweight?
I
was it?
remember him from WCW in the early days of the early '90s because he was a manager of the Big Van Vader from back in the day, and it was fun.
Really?
That was fun. What's
Oh.
up, Steve? How you doing there?
You hear me?
Oh, we can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear yourself at all?
Yeah,
Not really.
I don't want
Shit.
to.
Oh, I tell you, I tell you.
Uh,
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's kind of cool. I mean, because what's been going on is that he's had a lot of people coming up to him and that have an interest in him telling his dad's story because they didn't know. A lot of people didn't know that Harley had some kids because most people don't talk about that. Well, it
hmm.
was revealed that he did have some kids, and Justin was one of his kids, and he's been the one doing all the interviews and stuff, and so it's kind of exciting, I would
I
say.
wonder. I wonder how hard would it be to get up with Ric Flair? Would that be pretty difficult? I wonder how hard would it be to get up.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I would say give or take, depends on how much alcohol they've drank and how many drugs. Ric Flair he still is a party animal. The guy just doesn't know when to just go, not say go away, but like just like retire, like.
No, yeah.
So even
Mm.
to this day, he's probably smoking a blunt right now. Probably. I
He
don't know.
probably is in Florida. Didn't he live in Florida? I think he does.
I think yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he did. He lived all over because he actually lived in Minneapolis too. I think he was
Did he?
built in Minneapolis originally.
Wow.
So I do
I
have a
know.
viewer already, and she is saying that she's on my page, trying to see the link, and it's not showing up.
Hmm.
I've
I
had,
got it.
I've been having this issue with people a few times now. They've been trying to watch it, and it's just not showing up for them.
What the
Well,
hell is going on?
I'll send you the. I mean, have you seen the live at all? Because
Yeah,
okay.
I shared it. I shared the live video to
Oh, you
my
just did. Okay.
Facebook, and it says
Yeah,
it.
I updated it a little bit.
I shared it too.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen Forks Paul is also gave it a like as well. He's a producer from Grand Forks Best Source. So I want to say hi to Paul, my new producer. out of Grand out of Grand Forks. So.
Hi, Ian.
Anyway, yeah, hi Ian. Ian Thorpe's watching as well. I know Tony said, or Mad Dog said he won't be able to go out again. And this, I told Tony, I said, I understand. I mean, I can't get mad at the guy. Obviously, he's got to work and everything. He has to work. This was kind of a last minute deal. I wasn't sure if we were going to have a guest at all. I was almost just going to just not have one at all tonight. But he responded back. I actually got a hold of him via Instagram because I figured that was something that sometimes works for me when doing interview requests. They don't always respond back to Facebook sometimes, especially if they get a lot of people wanting their attention and stuff. And he also has a full-time job too, but he won't be on for another hour and 12 minutes or whatnot, 7 o'clock our time or my time. So no, we got plenty of time to BS. We got a whole hour or so to just do whatever we want. So
We
we
can
got a
go
lot.
crazy.
Well, there is once John Roberts gets here, we have something to talk about. We have a subject matter. It's nothing serious, like has nothing to do with the show or whatever, but it's something that came to my attention yesterday. So it's a new story. It's something that happened in a little town of Moorhead, Minnesota.
Mm.
So
Oh, wow.
you're gonna find out. It's kind of interesting when it comes to how business works when it comes to treating people who have been there for almost 5 years to your company. Then all of a sudden they get let go for over a misunderstanding. Yeah, so I found something that's pretty interesting.
And
Mama,
see,
Does this have to do?
I'm not, I don't like slamming businesses that I've never been to or that I don't know the whole story, but man, this story, if everything we've got on this story is 100% true and we're not missing any details here, this is one of the most messed up things I've seen in the services industry so far.
yeah, yeah, I definitely don't think it's right. I mean, well, we'll go into it here when John Roberts comes because I figure since he's has his news podcast and I'm sure he's probably talked about it already, but I want to get his thoughts too because it's definitely fucked up.
Yeah.
Nobody deserves to be treated that way. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if it was meant to happen or whatever. You don't treat your employees that way, especially ones that are good and show up all the time and are just trying to make a living, even if they are teenagers. Because believe it or not, kids, there are some good kids out there.
There are.
You know, not everybody's a rebel, or a renegade or whatever.
Not everybody, not all of these kids nowadays are from the entitled group. Like, this generation now, you hear so much about them being entitled and they think that they have the right to this and the right to that. And like one story I was reading at a TikTok, something about this girl wants to sue her parents because she didn't ask to be born. And now I think that one actually is a joke.
No, that was not a joke because that happened to a guy. A guy was doing that to his parents too. Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
Wow.
I
Hey, Tony.
didn't ask to be born, damn it.
Right? They cut her off and she's like, that's not right because I never asked to be born, so they should just keep on paying me. Like,
Sam Kinison does a bit about that.
wow.
He's like, he said he when he was younger, he's like living in an apartment and stuff like that. And he asked his mom for money because they've been supporting him and they wouldn't give it to him. And he called him up and says, "Hey, Mom, get Dad on the phone." It's like 3:00 in the morning. He says, "Listen, before I was your son, before I was your baby, before I was your loin, I was a free spirit in the next stage of life. But you had to fuck and bring me back down here. Now you want me to pay my own way? Fuck you."
What did he
I didn't
say
ask to be born.
What did he say that was special? I don't remember him saying that. What did he?
Oh yeah, that's one of his bits. I forget which one it's in, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's it. I'd be interested to hear that because I thought I knew everything most. Well, I don't kind of know everything. I gotta watch my words a little bit. I don't know everything about Sam Kinison, but I thought I knew. I've seen all his specials, so it's like even the stuff on the Dangerfield stuff too. So at Rodney's and everything.
You have to look it up. Look it up, Sam Kinison.
Yeah, I gets me curious now.
Not being born, I guess. I don't know what to look up, but
But imagine doing that to your folks. You know, I mean, I can see it doing it as a joke, you know, but like doing it for real and then going on TV and really being like upset because the guy who was doing it to his parents, they went on TV. They got interviewed by like CNN or Fox or whatever.
Fake
And I'm just
news.
like, what the fuck?
Went to
Yeah.
court. Like, can you imagine wasting the court's time with some bull crap like that? Like,
What are they gonna do? They're gonna kill the person that doesn't want to be born? What? It's okay. We'll give you the death penalty then.
wow.
It's like you don't want to be here, so what the heck? Or we'll let you shoot yourself.
You know what? You have a choice to be on this earth or not.
But I'm just saying, it's like
Maybe natural selection will take control, you know.
natural lubrication, I think, or whatever.
Lubrication, condom.
Got a condom. Yeah. Or to pull
Like
out.
I used to tell the boys in high school, you're a load your mama should have swallowed.
I'm going to
Wow.
sue every porn company out there because I'm wearing my pecker out, masturbate to it. And I'm going to sue them all. Fuck it.
There you go. There you go. That's a bright idea.
Why not, right?
Hey, you know,
Why not?
Everyone's
They might
suing
just-
everybody.
they might just take your
Sorry,
case.
Mama T.
They might just take your case and be like, you know what, we'll help you. You know,
I help you. Let me give you a hand.
Yeah, it'll be the best hand job we ever gave.
Yeah.
I teach him. Anyway, I think John Roberts is coming here pretty soon, and then I don't know if Eric's going to be here or Antique Man, so it might just be us, other than with Justin here in another hour. What's
Hi,
up there, Mr. Roberts? Mr. Roberts' neighborhood.
Mr. Roberts'
Here we
neighborhood.
go. I had to stretch it out first.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I thought
Right.
this was going to be programmed in.
I missed you guys last week.
What's
We
up, John?
missed you.
What's that? Yeah, I had to go. I had to go to a bar for work for a while.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Sound like a good time there.
That sounds like
I
this.
had to go take pictures. Yeah, I had to go take pictures of bike night. So
Did you see some titty at all? Was it bike night?
Yeah.
No? Like strippers?
no, not yet. It's the first one, and it is a bar.
Well, you said bike night, so I
6
thought, well,
o'clock at night.
was it
Yeah.
a rally?
Yeah.
I know Grand Forks did a
No, they're
bike rally.
Well, Grand Forks always had a bike night, some certain bar. It used to be Sickies, and then at one time it was somewhere else, and it hadn't gone on for a couple of years. And kind of my haunt. In fact, they sponsor my fishing team, the Broken Drum. I go in there all the time, and they decided they were going to have one, and my company, I used to endorse the bar when I was in radio at ungodly prices. It was ridiculous, and then they were going to follow me when we started this new venture. Well, then COVID hit, so we didn't approach anybody, and I never have. And they finally approached me about it a couple of weeks ago. So we finally got them on. So yeah, I'll go the extra mile for them, even though we're not getting rich off of them, but they've been loyal. So, and you know how that goes. So you got to go take care of them.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that sounds great. Well, I want to say, you know, now that I'm talking to you, via camera in front of everybody, you know, how much fun I had a couple weeks ago, you know, just doing the show with you, man, and everybody else as well. But I mean, it was definitely it was I had a lot of mixed emotions going into it, and then afterwards, after it was done, you know, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I've never been to your studio before, and kind of when I say a bucket list, I really do mean that. I'm not just saying that just to make you smile or whatever. That was a bucket moment for me because I've always wanted to do something like that, you know, in Grand Forks or whatever, or in that type of setting. To me, it really felt like after everything that I have been through personally, trying to get somewhere, I really feel like you helped me out in a big, big way. And I mean, it might not have got a whole lot of views and everything, but I really feel like we did something good. And so I do want
Oh,
do.
it'll get there.
It'll
Get
I don't mean
there.
to get emotional about it because I almost started crying because I
No.
just
Oh,
talk
no,
about it. So
Well,
no
now if Mama
cry.
T would have made it instead of doing us.
well, you know what I mean though. It's just like it's just one of those things. Like
I
I know
know.
you do it every day. It's like no big deal to you, but this was kind of like a bucket list thing for me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Well, I'm glad you had fun. I had a good time, and I'm looking forward to doing some more shows there. But you should have been there, Sean, when we first started, because we didn't hardly have anything. We had everything on stands, and if the fire department, because they come in and inspect us like once every 6 months, if they would have came in that first 6 months, it was crazy. We put 36 new outlets in that studio, and it still wasn't quite enough. It was nuts. I mean, we'd have power strips plugged into power strips plugged into,
Oh
and
wow.
then we just all the time we just kept adding and building and
So
all
how
of
did
that, and
you
pretty
eventually
soon it
get
just
into?
morphed into what it is.
Well, but how did you finally realize, like, like we got something here, like, this studio will work, and we'll make do with what we have.
About 6 months ago. I
Okay.
mean, we we signed our lease in the mall, and 5 days after we started moving in and trying to figure out what we were going to do, the pandemic hit, and it just, I mean, the first year especially was ridiculous. We started doing shows about anti-vaccination and anti-masks, and it was bullshit, and Fauci's a joke, and blah blah blah, and people were calling us nut jobs and threatening to quit advertising, and now 4 years later they're saying, you know what, I think you were right. But so we had a lot of highs and lows, but it's getting there. It's getting there. We're still, there's some shows we do are crazy.
Yeah.
They get views from all over the country and the world and Canada, and some don't. But if you keep plugging away, a lot of our shows, I don't know if you've ever seen any of Icky Ichabod's shows that we do on Friday nights.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that because
He's
he
a
does
great
movies.
guy. Yeah, he's a, and I mean this in a good way. He's kind of a germaphobe. He still wears a mask, and we tease him. I tease him a little bit about it, and he teases me back. But I mean, his show gets crazy followers, and it's just, you wouldn't think it would, but a lot of people love the kind of the dark side of wrestling and wrestling, and then his movies that he does showcases are really good. So I mean, anyway, but yeah, it's just we do so many different kinds of shows, and this is just gonna, once people start realizing it's there, they'll start hitting it.
Well, I just, like I said, I mean, I'd be willing to do something with Ichabod. I mean, if that's the show that's doing well, and he's doing something I like anyway. He's doing wrestling, he's doing movies. I might have to talk to the guy and see, hey, because even, I mean, I could multitask or whatever, do a show or record something for him too, if you needed to. It doesn't really matter. Producer Paul
I'll
was telling
talk
me
to
about.
him. He comes in Monday mornings and records his Friday night show. I'll
Oh, so
talk to
he
him when he comes back in on.
Oh, so he does record it on Mondays. Okay, so it's not a live show. Okay.
So you said his
Yep.
show
Yep.
has a crazy following. Did you mean that like the followers themselves are crazy, or just a lot of people?
Sure.
Well, we're
That's
all
a fair
different.
question.
We're all different. I'm not saying they're crazy. He's got a unique following. He's a unique dude. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. He's like in a I think he kind of gets off in this like goth rock, dark rock. I don't know what do you call it, with mosh pits and all that stuff,
Something like that. I mean,
and he's a movie buff, and he's a good guy. So he's just not like me by any means. He's not like any of us, but none of us are like each other. But he's
Thank God.
he's a good guy.
Wouldn't the world be boring if we were all the same?
No,
Yeah, it would be.
we all want to
Would
dance
be.
musician. Just kidding.
Well, unless everybody was like me. I mean,
That's right. So Bob would be getting a lot of action, I tell you. Holy moly.
I get plenty. More than I want.
Well, okay. So now that what's up, everybody? Welcome to Renegade Radio, season 2, episode 15. I'm your host with the most, Frankie Slauson, and it's been a while since I did that type of introduction, really, because we've been doing the pre-show stuff now. So it's been kind of taking its own course. But tonight I'm with Mama T, Michael Massey from Mikey's Adventures, all the way in Raleigh, North Carolina. We got Steven Sam, and we got John Roberts here. And that might be our crew for tonight. But we have Justin Race, who's the son of the legendary professional wrestler Harley Race, coming on the show in about an hour. And that will be interesting because John Roberts, a month or so ago, they did a Dark Side of the Ring episode on Harley Race, and Justin was interviewed for that.
I'm thinking it's probably the only episode I haven't seen. I just realized today that he was recently on the show, and I never got a chance to watch it. But I bet you it's good because, I grew up watching Handsome Harley Race. That's back in my era, and I can't wait. He was a badass dude, and the kid, how can you not be? Is he still wrestling?
I think he does it off and on. I think it's just more like an independent wrestler. He never really made it big into the big leagues, but I think
he was doing that blow and stuff.
Yeah, if you ever go on his Facebook page, because that's how I found him, he has photos upon photos upon photos of just archive footage of stuff that I've never seen before of him and Harley Race and his mother and all that, and so he's going around doing some podcasting, and I was able to get his attention. I don't know how, but it just worked, I guess. They don't have that little magic, I guess, and got a hold of him via Instagram this time, and and so he said no problem, and so we're that's what we're doing. There you go, some cheap advertising for GFBS.
Cool. I had to do
it. Absolutely. Well, since you're here, John. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So tonight we have a topic that I did share it with you via text. You remember me sharing that with you this morning, or last night, or whatever?
Oof.
Of course not.
This poor girl.
Of course not. Well, I don't know if it's something you talked about at all on your show today or whatever, but I figured I wanted to include you in this conversation because it's local in our area anyway. It's not Grand Forks news, but it's Moorhead news, but it's still a big deal.
I did not do the story on my news just because it's Fargo Moorhead and we leave those guys alone, but I did read the story, and what a crock of crap. But yeah, I hear you. I know what you're talking about. The girl that got fired for accepting a tip that she said no to how many times, and the guy's like, none, basically puts it in her pocket. Yeah, and then she gets, fired. That's just crap.
I think he actually put it in the tip jar. I think he actually put it in the tip jar. Yeah. Okay. So if anybody's wondering, so what happened was there's like this little ice cream shop, and they're not supposed to accept any tips over $20 or whatever. And this customer insisted on giving this girl $100 tip. And she kept saying, no, I can't accept that. I can't accept that. Well, before he left, he stuck in the tip jar and walked away.
That's what happened.
This girl got fired because, we have a reputation to uphold, and we've got a lot of elderly customers coming in that might have dementia and not know what they're doing. And we don't want to have that kind of name here in town, that we're taking advantage of the elderly people.
How many employees,
Probably not many. It's a small place. It's like, it looks like a Dairy Queen almost, but it's not a Dairy Queen. We'll call it out. It's a
Moorhead. First 4 people, then they had only $20 a piece.
It's a Moorhead free, so we'll call them out. I don't care. It gives if it backlashes on us, hey, at least people will know about us. I don't care. Moorhead freeze. What the fuck are you doing?
We took my club, we took some women for the outdoors out on a catfishing trip. We had like a dozen boats and all these women, and when we were done, the two that I took out they wanted to tip me, and the fishing was so bad. They each caught fish, but it was so bad. I thought it was a horrible trip, so I kept saying no, 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 no. Well, the next week when I go to go out fishing again, I pull out my bait cooler and there's $80 in there. But they'd still managed a way to stick it in my boat, you know. But
Wow.
if you want to tip somebody, tip them.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. Tip them.
And what kind of business does that? Like, okay, this girl, she's a hard worker. I imagine if somebody wanted to give her $100 tip, she is busting her ass. She is friendly. She's cordial. She's doing her job above and beyond in order to be even offered something like that. Isn't that the kind of employee you want out there in front of everybody? Isn't that the one you want to give a raise to commend, to put out there and say, look at what a great business we have. We've got employees that have such respect from the community and they're such hard workers that people want to give them $100 tips. Wouldn't you want to promote yourself that way? And that employee? I mean, they went the wrong way with this.
People should
If this bar had employees that were consistently earning big tips, that would be good for my business. That would mean people would be sharing that and saying, hey, look at what a great place this is.
Sam, so Sam, what were you going to say?
No, I just said they should ban that place. I mean, if I lived in that area, I'd be standing outside with signs, do not come in here and eat or whatever.
Yep.
You don't need no.
I mean, unless they're millionaires, but the girl's working because she's not, you know, and like Mama T said, working her butt off, and yeah.
I'll humiliate the people outside.
Well,
you dress up as Sam is and humiliate.
I'm like, you're too fucking old. You get brain freeze. You're too fucking fat. You don't eat ice cream. You look like Joe Biden. Go home.
I agree with almost everything you said there, buddy.
It's actually funnier without Tony here. I don't know, man.
Right.
I kind of miss the sibling rivalry, though.
Yeah,
he comes back fast. He's a fast man comebacker, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, what I don't understand is like when they wrote down that the person should care more about the business and not about their potential gain. You know, it's like, who says that? You know, of course they're going to care about the business. Everybody cares about the places they work at, or they should anyway. You know, I talk a lot of whatever about my stuff at the casino, but I'm grateful. You know, I will do my best to be the best employee I can be, but sometimes some days you don't feel like doing that. But I do care and I do love where I work. It just sometimes it's just a bunch of things happen. It's like that I will never understand as an employee. So, but to say that you should never, it's okay for the owners to make money, but not, or X of money or whatever, but not an employee. Come on, that's just ludicrous,
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's places in Raleigh, North Carolina, where you're not allowed to accept tips. Like I worked at a place where you're not allowed to, accept any tip at all. And I'm sure people were doing it. They just weren't telling the bosses just didn't know it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I suppose like a lot of people probably give like the movie theaters a lot of bad time because of how expensive a lot of the theaters are. But if it's a mom and pop style theater, and I think there are still some of those around because we have ours with Follow Cinema and whatnot. I feel like it's like if it's like a big corporation, then it's like okay, well they got to do what they got to do. But if it's a mom and pop organization and they're barely making it, but they're doing what they can, I don't see what's wrong with.
Yeah.
I wonder if the girl mentioned something to their boss, like, "Hey, this guy gave me $100 tip, and I told him I didn't want it," or did they see it happen? I mean, I wonder how it happened, how it come down.
Yeah, how did they know about
just-
it?
I don't know. There was
I would
I
have
know
shut the
that-
hell up and walked.
what was posted was the warning letter she got, and I can try and find it. I was just trying to find it real quick. I think it's Sean.
Well,
it's on your
obviously,
page,
it wasn't a warning letter. It was a firing letter, right?
right? Well,
No, it's like a statement,
Okay.
kind of like.
it says employee warning notice form. The following correction action must be taken by the employee. So-and-so needs to understand that some of our customers are elderly and could be dealing with dementia or other illnesses that may make it hard for them to understand their actions. No one in their right frame of mind tips $100 at a place where every menu item is under $12. As an employee of the Freeze, it is your responsibility to protect the reputation of the establishment. If the customer is dealing with issues and the family finds out she was allowed to put $100 in the tip jar, the Freeze will be looked down on as a place that takes advantage of the elderly. Looking out for our customers should take priority over the opportunity to get a tip.
Well, maybe they felt
I-
inspired to
here's-
give her $100. Maybe they felt, impressed to give her
Yep.
that.
And it says
And
employee
here's-
warning notice form at the top. That's what it says. And then they fired her. It's not a warning.
Right.
Here's the thing now, since this has gone viral basically, and it's in the news now, whoever the business owner is and wrote that note saying no one in their right mind would do that.
That's
Okay,
insulting.
so now this person who did do the tipping could be a genius. I mean, they could have an IQ through the roof. So
It's
there, right
insulting.
there, is the makings of a lawsuit. So you if you're going to do something that stupid, you shouldn't talk about how stupid you are doing a stupid thing to the media.
It's insulting the people who gave him the tip. I'd be going back there saying, "You think I'm senile,
That is.
motherfucker?"
Right?
Yeah,
That's
because
not-
that's what they're saying. No one in their right mind would give $100 tip.
Right.
So
That's
they're saying
insulting.
they're not right.
Right.
Well, obviously they had money or they wouldn't have done it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm guessing if you weren't quite there and we're talking like this business owner was, you're probably not out roaming the streets going into these little shops tipping $100 and having all that money in your pocket. I would think your so-called caretakers would be watching you a little more than that if you had all that money. But-
Maybe there's some jealousy
just-
from the owners. Maybe they were a little jealous of it.
Well, obviously
Yeah,
they
'cause
had a sign
the
that said
worker
that.
made more money than the owner.
Yeah,
Hey, look at
they're so pissed about that. That's what I think. Is it just like jealousy because the owners aren't doing the hard work. They're making their employees do everything. The owners are just here to
Right,
make
right.
the rules and to collect the money. That's about it. What's up here,
Yeah.
Antique Man? Welcome to the show. You
Look
made
who's
it.
here.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm a little late. I got my mixed up. I'm actually going to be on the road next Monday.
Oh,
So
so
Yeah.
you'll be hanging out with Willie Nelson and stuff. Huh?
you get these little old things once in a while.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, tell me about it.
yeah,
Just
go
wrecked my
ahead.
Volkswagen.
Tell me about it.
I blame that on the 80s itself. Actually started in the 70s.
I had a bad day
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, that fix worked. We've got 2 more viewers right now. One is
Oh, good.
my middle child, my mini me. Hi,
Oh.
Margaret. And one is a cousin of little Bobby's. Hi, Stacy.
I had no idea it was set to friends, just friends on friends. I had no idea. I never checked it before.
And I
That's
think
why I
that's
took
what
the
the
public.
issue has been. I've had a lot of people saying that they wanted to watch and they couldn't get
Oh.
on.
Well, now it's been fixed, so hopefully.
And it was Margaret that figured it out. She's like, you must not be set to public. Oh.
I
Okay.
never knew. I thought I had it set to public. I have everything set to public, but I don't, it's like weird, but it's fixed now. So anybody that wants to watch it can now watch it. We'll get our 1 million viewers tonight. That'll be
Yes. Yes.
good.
Keep sharing, everybody. Keep sharing. I don't know about Dan. I mean, I haven't heard from him all week, but I don't know how his kid's doing. You know what I mean? I just haven't heard from him, because he's religiously on our show. If
Yeah.
he doesn't make the show, he does watch it after, watches the whole thing after. He tells me all about it. So he's a pretty loyal guy to us.
So he's just a fan that just well a friend of yours. I do know that.
Well,
That
he wasn't actually a friend of mine. I mean,
Oh,
I knew him years ago when he delivered parts to my shop.
uh-huh.
He actually knew my brother.
Oh,
And then my brother, I recognized him, so I had him on my thing. But as far as friends, we were never really friends. But I'll tell you what, Facebook brings a lot of people together, man. Like just like you and I, just like us on this panel. We don't know each other from Adam. I mean, if I probably walk right by you guys on the street, maybe I'm old. And
No, you wouldn't.
3 of us know each other
You
in
would.
person anyway.
well, John Roberts, I'd be going like this. Hey, hi, John. I'm only 5'6".
and he'd be looking at you like, "Hey, how's it going?" Or,
Hey, how's it going, old man?
Yeah. Hey, does
Yeah, I thought you were actually going to do the show from Bobby's tonight, Sean.
Well, we were going to, but
That's what I was going to ask.
budgets and and then just an organization, we'll say. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well-
I think it was a 50-50 this time. So this room I'm in is a tiny little room, and we were going to set it up with 2 rooms, but there was some other issues, and I like to smoke. You guys already know I sit and chain
Yeah,
smoke through this
You dropped
whole,
that bomb.
and this is a tiny little room, and Sean doesn't really care for cigarette smoke. We could have set it up in here,
I wouldn't either.
but then I would have been really crabby by the
No.
end of the show.
That's fine. I would be like, just hold the phone, you MFer. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
I would have been matching you 1 hit for cigarette.
Well, I don't mind a little smoke, but it's just
Go
like
to your own.
I just showered. I don't want to smell like smoke. I just like come on.
That's the real reason, Mama T.
Yeah.
He
I
just
still
said the
like
real
it.
reason why he's not there. It's not because of the budget. What
No,
kind of
it's-
budget is there
no,
to bring your computer to her and hook up to her thing and start the show?
That's kind of a big deal because I have a desktop here, sir. You know how heavy the desktop.
And see, I thought he
Don't
had
call
a
me
laptop,
sir either,
so
bitch.
I thought I thought he was meant for this because I thought he had a laptop and he was going to bring the laptop. It was just
Well, I didn't have a laptop. I haven't had a laptop in probably 10 years or so.
I love his computer I got now. I mean, I think I look good. I mean, I always look good, but
Well, we could have made it work. It just,
I love his
figure
computer.
something out. We got a lot of episodes to do, do this year, so.
I'm just on a laptop. My wife's PC is right here. I got another big monitor right next to me, but I'd like to spin it around and give you a different view because her office up here is pretty cool.
You should do a segment where you grab your corgi dog and do like a little little segment with the dog every week.
I do it on my phones.
Wow.
I love my phones. I used to do it on my phones, and I like that because I could walk with it, whatever. But now I'm stationed right here, man.
Well, I could have brought the phone and it probably would have been fine, but it's just that I was worried because I'm recording the show, I'm streaming the show, and then adding every member to the Zoom conference because we're trying to figure out. Paul's trying to help me figure out how to convert it so we can do it through OBS instead of just through Zoom. But I don't have another screen. I don't have like 2 multi monitors or whatever. I just have one giant 43-inch television, that I use. So it's kind of bullshit. But anyway, it's a good setup. I like it, but it
works.
Normally move stuff around. It works, yeah. I just actually updated not too long ago. But it's a 65-inch that's back there. And earlier, probably one of the reasons why I'm broke is because I went and I changed my TV from an LG to a Vizio because you gotta invest in Dolby Vision, man. I tell you, come on now.
If I hadn't bought a bag of cigarettes today, I probably would have been able to give you a little gas money.
Well, I would have been fine. And I had bills too. The second half of the month, I had more bills than I do the first half, and I had to pay for my phone. My phone bill was due. I mean, I could.
Hey, how much?
Go down for a week. About what?
How much are a pack of smokes now?
$10.
$10 or so, or at least I would think.
Something like that.
And that's not the cheap though.
It's funny because I graduated from high school in 1983 and I was an athlete. I smoked weed, didn't smoke cigarettes, I drank a little bit of beer, but I was a serious athlete. I got scholarship offers, things like that, but I got accepted into the radio and television school, and back then it was tough to get in. They only took like like 6 people a semester or something like that. But one of my first days of lecture at school, I mean, I only had 6 days off between my high school graduation and starting up again. One of the first things they taught us was, if you're a guy and you smoke, your voice will have more resonance and you'll sound better. This was right out of Don Jorsted's mouth there, Sean. So before you know it, I'm smoking 3 packs of Marb Reds a day. It was,
Wow.
I used to smoke so much. I was doing a morning show at KKAQ, and I'd have to start off the show with a half-hour live newscast. I'd wake up after smoking 3 or 4 packs of smokes and I have no voice. So I had this humongous 7-Eleven coffee mug, and I would drink a gallon of coffee every morning. I'd mix it 3/4 coffee and 1/4 ice water so I could slam it just to get my voice back, and then spend the rest of the day running upstairs to piss because you'd have to go to the bathroom so much from drinking all that coffee. But hey, long story, I was a smoker, and I get it. I'm glad I don't anymore, but I get it.
They sell cigarettes like at our gas station. They're called LDs.
Yeah,
And
those
they're only 4 something. Yeah, 4 something a pack.
they
You
sell
get the
those in
Marlboros. The Marlboros are like 9 something or $10.
What
11
about
in
you?
Minnesota.
What about you, Antique Man? Do you smoke at all, or did you ever smoke?
Oh, when I was a teenager, like everybody else, for a little while I smoked, but
When it was cool.
and they were cool. Yeah, that was the brand too, cool menthols.
Oh yeah, my dad smoked
But-
them.
Yeah, but I
Those
wasn't a
Cool
big
Rocker
smoker.
cigarettes.
And really just didn't like it much. And mostly what I used to do in college would be the pivot man. We'd be out in the cow fields and we'd be passing the pipe around, and I would hold the bowl and pass around. I'd get high just by being over the bowl, by being the pivot man. So
I smoked up to 2004 and I quit.
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't.
can't.
Okay, this has been my friend, my only friend since I was 10 years old. And yes, it's a toxic friend, I agree, but it's been the only one that's been there for me my whole life.
Aw.
Plus, it gives me that good singing voice, you know.
Oh yeah. That raspy voice, that old lady voice. Like
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, that'll be 20 in a couple more years. Hey,
And I'm not a
Mama
quitter.
T.
I am no quitter.
Yeah. She'll be holding her throat.
Yeah, it's Mama T. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome
You
to
guys.
I can't remember the last time.
Yeah,
I can't
Bobby's
remember
recording
the last time I had a cigarette. It's been so long, but I bet you, I still think about them. Not as much as I used to, but I bet you it would still taste good.
How about you, Mikey?
I just won't. I won't.
What's your story as far as their smoking goes and drinking and everything? You ever do that?
Who, me?
Yeah,
No.
you.
Yeah, I had some vices, but that wasn't one of them. I never drank or smoke or anything like that. I never got to have it.
Oh,
I never did drugs.
Me neither.
are there
Everybody
any
thinks I
other
do.
vices? Really?
Huh.
I didn't
Everybody-
either. They did me.
Now,
Everybody thinks I do drugs, but I, just because of the way I look, but no.
Never did drugs.
High on life, man.
when I was younger, I tried just about everything there was.
What
There were
is this
certain
true
things I said
confession hour?
no to. Man, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so, yeah.
It's one of those shows, what not to do.
I used to have a saying, I'll try anything once, twice if it's three times if I like it.
Yeah. It goes from
That's always the kind of college girl I was looking for.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's gonna go from. Pretty sure this is gonna go.
That's a great saying.
Yeah.
That's a great saying too. But with me, it was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pretty soon it's 300. So
Wow.
it ended up costing.
Jeez. Going from true confessions to taxi cab confessions. Pretty soon.
There we go.
Old HBO reference there, kids. Anyway, so Antique Man, we were talking about the event that happened in Moorhead, at the Moorhead Freeze. They're about the girl that got a tip, or refused a tip, but they thought she still took the tip or whatever, and got fired for that. What's your thoughts on that, or do you know anything about that at all?
I'm sorry I missed out on that. If I had a little more information, but no comment.
Oh, no. I mean, like, what your thoughts on something like that of that
I mean,
happening?
she got terminated. Why?
Because somebody, like an older person, gave her $100 tip, but she said that she
Yeah.
could take it, but the older person wouldn't have it, so they put it in a pot or a tip jar or whatever, and she still got fired for it.
It was $100 tip, and the
Yeah.
employer was trying to say that the business's reputation needs
Nobody
to
in
come
their right mind.
for that. No one in their right mind would give $100 tip at a place where nothing on the menu was over $12. So she was taking. They didn't want the business's reputation to be that they were taking advantage of the elderly.
Oh, well, I would just say, boss, you're not a psychologist. Let's split the money up with everybody here.
There you go.
Well, I think the guy was Joe Biden. He left behind his documents on the table. So
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
that he was senile.
Well,
Anybody have that lady's address?
it's
Yeah,
a
bro.
How much you want to send her?
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of going and singing a song and getting a tip.
Oh, there you go. Well, you'll be coming to the area pretty soon. You can it's a Moorhead Freeze. You can make your appearance over there. So, yeah, I'm glad you It's nice to meet you. I'm gonna start singing you a song. Well, another
Well,
great
I can see both sides of the argument. So
another great entertainment news. Jay Leno turned 74 this week. Yeah, any
oh
big
boy.
fans back in the day or at all? Or anybody love Jay Leno? I love Jay Leno.
Oh,
I love Jay.
watched
I love
it.
Jay.
Yeah. I
How
liked
about
him
the
a lot.
Rolling Stones touring started again last night?
Oh yeah. That's
Wow.
Keith Richards will
So
never
does
die, I
Keith
guess.
Richards. Does he
Are
look
they
older?
traveling?
Or how could he?
Are they traveling in a
doing-
hearse just in case?
Problem.
Coming to a town near you, you know.
Oh well. More power to
There's
them.
got to be a time when you go, well, I really don't love it that much. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but like Phil Collins, I wonder if he'd still keep going if he was better. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
probably. Sometimes you just can't escape it. But you
I
know,
love Phil Collins.
with a music artist though, it's like even Robert Plant still try to do stuff sometimes. Like he'll go on little tours and stuff. But that guy's a
He
music guy.
said trying.
Well, whatever.
I've
He goes on
been
some-
to enough shows. Yeah, I've been to enough shows where these people, they had no business still touring. But they were always kind of on my bucket list. This might surprise you, but like Gordon Lightfoot was one. Kenny Rogers was another one. I was in my country days in country radio, but they were so god awful. With Gordon Lightfoot, I left during intermission before he even played the record, the Edmund Fitzgerald, because I didn't want to remember him that way. So what I'm
Right.
saying is, but I heard the Stone show last night was good. That's just taking the random people from random quotes from people. I heard they said it was good, but yeah, I don't want to remember bands like that. So there's times when you just want to go, come on, dude, give it up. Take a break. You got money. Go live your life and have fun. I don't know why you're still going at it, but I guess if they love doing it, their great grandkids are going to be rich. It's all right.
What I was going to
Maybe.
say, like you were talking about older bands and stuff that are performing. The Shooting Star Casino released like a schedule of what entertainment they got coming up here, and so May 10th they got the Roots and Boots, and that's with Aaron Tippin, Sammy Kershaw, and Colin Ray, and those guys are all up there in age. They're still doing their thing.
They're not 80 though.
No,
they're
but
not
they're
80.
getting up there. They're getting up there.
That's
Nazareth.
getting up there.
Nazareth's coming May 17th. They're up there. I mean, they all look good, but that's because they probably got some young people playing too. A little River Band's coming
Well,
on
yeah.
the 21st of June. They're talking about a band that's old.
We
Nitty
saw
Gritty
them up
Dirt
there a
Band.
couple years back. They're good.
Yeah, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. They've been doing it forever. I saw them in Deadwood, South Dakota during Wild Bill days. There was them and Clint Black. So I mean, it's just
Oh, yeah.
some people just don't. I mean, I don't know if it's just the love of music. It can't be about the fame anymore. I mean, it has to be
No,
about
no.
still wanting to do it, but maybe it is about money. I don't know. I really don't know.
No.
Ask Steven Tyler. I mean, look at him. He turned into a woman. I mean, he literally looks like a woman.
It looks like everybody's old
Yeah.
grandma.
Yeah,
You guys sing "Welcome to the Jungle."
that's
Welcome to the jungle. Who's that?
that's oh,
Guns
geez.
N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses, but that's like what was the name? Axl Rose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you,
Rose.
have you heard him sing?
Not lately.
Yeah,
Now?
he's no
God
good.
awful. Yes.
Oh my God, I can't.
His voice
I'm
is
embarrassed for him. I hang up.
Weren't they in Grand Forks not too long ago or something? Did they do a show or Fargo or something or Guns N' Roses?
know.
I thought it was like
Yeah.
Fargo.
Yeah,
A few years back.
they did one in Grand Forks, I think. I had no
okay.
interest in seeing
I
it.
don't really.
It's funny because in my radio days there was a lot of times I had to go to concerts. They made me go. And there was times I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go see Motley Crue. I don't know why. I just thought they were all right. There was a couple of songs they had. I was amazed how good they were, and I'm glad I got to go. But there was concerts that I went to on my own that I really wanted to go to, and they just sucked. So I don't know. Take the good with the bad, I guess.
Well, since we got a musician that's actually, here on our panel, Antique Man, you can tell us kind of like the secrets of like, when it comes to like touring and stuff and what like who made the decisions on how much how far you were going to go with doing your band stuff and like how often you were going to go to show and I mean was it like your side gig or was it just something that you did because you just wanted to do this for a living?
No, I was never old enough to do it for a living. We started in the 7th grade, and somebody's mother pulled us around with a U-Haul for a year, and then we wound up we got a converted school bus, and went out through high school and some of the college years through the Dakotas and Minnesota. Just for fun and money back then. You buy a pack of cigarettes for 35 cents, but. No, I think the older guys now do it because they really enjoy it. I sing a song once in a while, not because I'm great or get any money for it, but I enjoy it.
Sure.
We went a few months ago. One of the early bands I used to like as a kid was Herman's Hermits.
Oh yeah.
And there was a small venue in a town not too far from here, and Peter Newen and the Hermits played, and they were very good, and I was very surprised. He's very funny. He did some comedian stuff. He did a routine on Mick Jagger, and he's just a funny, good entertainer. So more power to him.
Well, back here, like in the Brooks area or closer to like Red Lake Falls, on Highway 2 or whatever, there was a place called the Marcoux Corner, and that is no longer there. But it used to be a place.
Oh yeah.
You probably remember that place as a place where a lot of the old rock and roll singers would come and perform.
That was Marcoux Corner. I grew up close to Gently, Minnesota, between Crookston and Gently. So Marcoux Corner was directly to the southeast. But I moved to Thief River when I was in like 5th grade. But Marcoux Corner, I was there probably 100 times in my life. But another one that was big was Maple Lake, the Pavilion. My mom and dad met at the Everly Brothers. Roy Orbison used to play there, Buddy Holly. It was crazy, but it was funny how these huge people back then, but they didn't have all the equipment and all the gear, and they could travel in a van or a small bus or a small airplane and still go all over the country. They didn't have to, stacks of PAs, speakers and all that.
A whole other
Just them and go.
I got a couple people asking what time our guest
Marcoux
comes
Corner
on.
wasn't far from Little Bobby's.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was saying it's like when you go on Highway 2 and go like to come back to Red Lake Falls or Brooks or the guests will be coming at about 7:00 here, so another 25 minutes we'll have Jesse.
Okay.
By
Sorry,
the way,
doing a pre-show about
that
hours.
burned down Marcoux Corner.
Yeah, I know. It's like I don't understand why. I don't, it's like they should have rebuilt because they could have done something really big with that. And I would have loved that being
Well,
closer to now.
it wasn't the only bar she burned down.
Well,
No.
who you said somebody burnt the bar down?
Yeah, Marcoux Corner burned down, and my wife's yelling at me from down to the living room saying to be quiet. But yeah, it's common. It burned down. Marcoux Corner did. Used to be actually kind of like, remember the third base in Brooks back in the day was the finest dining around. Was this little town of Brooks, Minnesota. But Marcoux Corner was similar to that, and then they had a lot of live music and stuff. But one of the most dangerous corners in northern Minnesota is right there, Marcoux Corner. Many people have been killed in that corner, that intersection.
Sure.
But
Sure.
yeah, the place burned down.
So it was like a supper club and a dance hall, kind of like.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because even Greenbush used to have a supper club, and now they turned it into a fucking hardware store.
Yeah, the Rainbow Supper Club.
Yeah, in Strandquist. Yeah.
Oh no, that was in Strandquist. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
I don't. The Greenbush
Oh,
was
do you remember?
Greenbush Supper Club. It was just called the Greenbush Supper Club. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
ever hear the Meadowbrook? You ever hear the Meadowbrook Ballroom?
yeah, that was in Middle River. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I-
out in the middle of nowhere by Middle River. You could bring your own jug of whiskey in that place. It was nice.
Just think of if those places were still around and how many people would, come and play, and it'd be probably cheaper to go see a show and everything, maybe, and I always kind of think about those times. It was like, because my dad kind of was the one who always told me about, things, because the Crickets came to the Meadowbrook in 1987 and gave my dad a guitar, or like a pick, that they signed to me or whatever when I was little. I
Yeah.
didn't go, but my folks did, and that's something they have. My dad has in his Buddy Holly box, vinyl record box.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah, I partied with the Bellamy brothers at the Meadowbrook.
oh, okay,
Oh, nice.
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
interesting.
Howard and David. They even cut my very first radio promo. So that was pretty cool.
This is interesting. See, people are trying to, we're trying to let people know about our lives a little bit of things that we used to do, and stuff that we missed and everything. It's kind of nice to reminisce like this. But yeah, so our guest will be coming here in a little bit. Justin the Race. He's the son of Harley Race. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, Harley Race, his son, and he yeah, I mean, he's been on Dark Side of the Ring, and he's tries to do a little bit of wrestling, and he looks like he's built pretty good for what he looks like. I don't know a whole lot about Justin, so that's what's going to make this interview pretty interesting. I mean, I know he's here to talk about his dad, but he's also going to probably talk about himself a little bit too, which is always
Sure.
good. I know we were trying to get away from the wrestling stuff, but it's like sometimes it's nice just to mix it up a little bit. I mean,
Right.
so we're not trying to do all the same. As far as future episodes, we don't really have anything planned yet, but we're trying to figure out, and this is probably the next topic here before we get to our guest here. When do we want season 2 to be over? We have 3 options that we could do. We could do the 13th of May, which is in a couple weeks. We could do the 20th, or we could do Memorial Day itself. What day would it work? And then what day do you think we could do it at John's place?
The fuck?
At John's,
Where are they?
did they run away? Uh-oh.
Something's in my backyard.
Oh, okay.
A bear?
Out here, it could be anything. Oh, my dogs are they're barking. They're in the house, but they're looking at something out the window.
Oh.
A bear, a deer, somebody else's dogs,
Santa Claus.
Whatever,
or something like that. Pennywise.
Neighbors' horses,
Uh,
one-eared
well,
sheep.
we're
I've
trying
had
to
them all
figure-
running in my yard.
I'm just trying to figure out because I need to know when everybody is comfortable of doing the season 2 finale, and it would be nice to do it at John's place, or John's studio on the 20th. I think, or on the 13th, either way. But what do you have any idea yet at all, there, John Roberts?
Um, let me check. Let me check tomorrow, the 13th or the 20th.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure all you guys are going to be busy Memorial Day. I would say probably because it's a holiday.
Yeah.
What
My
day is
deal
that?
That's
is
27th.
Monday.
Yes, on Monday.
My deal is making sure I have a producer is my thing. So I just got to make sure.
Okay. I did mention it to Paul before too, but I don't know if he remembers. But I know you got
Yeah,
another
right,
guy too.
right.
I befriended Dale too, your other producer guy or whatever, the guy who's always doing the introductions for you sometimes before your news goes on. He seems
Yeah,
like a
he
high energy guy.
he's yes, he goes, well, he works nights too, so he's crazy how much that guy does, but he's kind of off on Monday nights. It's one of those no touch me nights, but we also have another producer too that first started with us, so I can also reach out to her, but I'll find out tomorrow,
No
Sure.
and then
touch
I'll
me
let you know
nights.
and we
I
can go
thought
from there.
no touch me nights. I thought only women had those.
What?
I wouldn't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I wouldn't know.
The guy sleeps like one night a week, and that's his night, I guess. So it's
Ah.
like, leave him alone.
Oh, sure.
I get it.
No, he seems like a guy who really because when watching the introductions to your promo or the promos he's trying to make for you live or whatever, before you do your news. Yeah, he just seems like he's really full of information. He really seems like somebody that knows what he's talking about, which I guess helps with that.
Yeah, and when he first started with us, he had no experience in any of this kind of stuff. He was just interested in a few things, and now I've got him. Well, he worked with the karting association last year, the go-kart racing, as a photographer and part-time announcer, and he's been doing some Victory Lane stuff with us now at our big speedway, and now he's going to do his first full-time announcing gig in Devil's Lake. So I'm just throwing him to the wolves to see if he likes it, and he just takes it on. I don't know how he does, but he's got no wife or kids, and
Sure.
so. But yeah, the dude works just massive hours. I don't know how he does it, but so yeah, he's having fun, and we're glad he's with us.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's nice to have somebody that you can trust anyway. That's for sure. That is for sure. Uh, well, anyway, so once we get that figured out, then we'll have an idea because I have, there's still
Damn,
some people
sorry.
that I wanna get, for our show and everything, but I'll know more later on here because I was gonna try to ask Williams and Ree again, but I guess Terry Ree, the Indian, the Indian white guy, he just had a heart surgery or something, or heart failure or something, or some type of situation that might cause them to. They may end up being done with their show. And I told Bruce, I said that's kind of sad in a way, but then then you gotta look at it like be kind of happy about it because you've already made a legacy for yourself with everything that you've done in your life with you and Terry. Guys just come up with an idea back in Spearfish, South Dakota, to doing all the things that you did in your life and everything, and how big of a legacy that you left behind. You're not dead yet, obviously, but you made a legacy for yourself, and nobody will forget about what you guys have done. So it's no shame to just say it's time to go, time to be done and give yourself the ultimate break,
I do have a guest that I can bring on here pretty soon. So shameless plug here again, of course, for the bar here, Little Bobby's in McIntosh, Minnesota. We're doing a Women of the Blues festival, May 31st
and June 1st.
Yep. Yeah, and we've already had two of the women, Amanda Fish and Lori Morvan.
Yep.
I'm still working on getting Shannon Kerfman on, but our MC, Lady J, is willing to come on the show as well. So
Now,
we
is she the one
probably
that
get
we were
her.
trying to get? Was she the one we were trying to get before? And she was having issues.
Yep.
So hopefully those issues will be fixed then. Because if
Yep.
you can get her, that'd be great.
I'm gonna do a personal Zoom with her here pretty soon to make
Okay.
sure she gets all the connections right, knows all the buttons to push and all that. So
Well, let me know when you got the okay, and then we'll book her, and we'll do it right this time.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, no problem, John. What about that drummer guy, that Alan guy? Is he still around at all?
Oh,
doing-
Alan Kirk.
Yeah.
Oh, I could probably get him on too.
Is he free still Monday nights and all?
I think they've got a jam night on Mondays. So I think that's
Yeah.
what the issue was with getting him on the show.
But if he wants to do something earlier too, just even with the two of us and then him and maybe Bob, that's fine too. It can be
Yep.
exclusive. I don't care. Just to say that, so we did it, So, I promise you that we would still do it. So
Yeah.
just let me know. Just keep me in contact anyway.
Well, I've met about a million musicians here in the last 3 years, so I'm sure I can find somebody.
Yeah. And and anybody else that might, because Antique Man, you were trying to tell me you had somebody in mind, but you never said who or whatever a while back ago. We were talking about it, but you're supposed to get back to me, but you never did.
Well, it's another age thing, but yes, I know a gentleman out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, who for several years was president of the South Dakota Rock Hall of Fame, and he also has played keyboard and vocals for his band for like 40 some years, and he'd be interesting because he knows and had met a lot of musicians and bands from both the Dakotas and Minnesota. So we can talk about it later. And if you're interested, I could
Sure.
see if John is interested, and I think he would be.
Yeah, that'd be interesting because especially somebody who's been a part of the South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was surprised. I had, when I lived in South Dakota, I had no idea they had a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I had no idea they had a Country Music Hall of Fame. I was so oblivious to all this stuff before,
Right.
But once I met Williams and Ree, and when they came to my house that I was living with at the time, or for an interview, then they told me more about what how long it's been around and everything, because they also were inducted with the South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I believe.
Yeah, they were. My band Cocoon was there and inducted the same night that Williams and Ree were inducted, so that was especially fun for me.
Yeah.
I have a short story about Williams and Ree. I was about 1971. Besides booking my own band, I booked a few solo acts, and one day I was driving through Huron, South Dakota, and the bowling alley bar lounge in the afternoon was open, and I saw on the marquee Williams and Ree. Not even real sure who they were. Went in, and they were in rehearsal, just the two of them practicing, and kind enough to stop. And they hadn't been in as long as certainly in 1971, so they were still pretty fresh, and they were interested in my little booking agency, and took a card, and then I just moved on too, and never gave them a call or anything. But that's probably my bad. But really nice guys. And then during the South Dakota Rock Hall of Fame, they were very friendly, and they did reminisce on stage about how all these musicians have traveled the same places, but have never really run into each other, but we all have some of the same stories. And anyway, two great guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, no matter what, I mean, they have built a legacy, and that's what I'm trying to do. All this talk about, doing the show and everything and seeing how it progresses and everything. And like I was talking about with John Roberts saying about a bucket list and stuff, I mean, I want to be a little bit famous. Okay. I mean, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with being proud or what you do? I don't care if I ever am rich. I don't care about that. I mean, I do, but I don't. I just want to be known. I want to be known. I mean, isn't that why we all do what we do? Well, I mean, don't we want to, be known for something cool? So that people, if somebody ever wants to write a book about us or do a film about us, I say, this person lived a pretty cool life. We want to know about this person. We want to keep this person's legacy going. Isn't that why we all kind of tried the arts in our life? I mean, all
I
of
guess-
us.
Oh, I tried
guess
that
the
with, I
reason
tried that.
I guess the reason I do it, what I do is just to make people happy. Like, not really for my name out there, but I'm trying to spread little Bobby's name out there. Trying to share the show with everyone, and I'm just trying to spread joy and cheer wherever I go. I don't care if people even remember my name, as long as I put a smile on their face and bring some recognition to other people who are really good at what they do.
What about you guys?
Well said. Well
I,
said.
oh, good.
Go ahead, Sam.
Well, when I did the tribute, if my guys would have played their cards right, I probably may have made it, but they wanted to get into the porn business, and the Sam Kinison thing was fading away because it's more about porn than it was about Sam, more about porn than it was about comedy, and it actually ruined us. But we got content I got so much content that I could sell or whatever if somebody wanted to do something with it. Man, we got content out the butt, where I could make a lot of money with it, because people buy that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I try hard. You know what, Sean? I'm happy the way I am now. I'm a nobody. I'm up in Ohio. I have a couple little Volkswagens, and I'm happy. Fuck that famous shit.
Well, I just always think that it's just important. Like, at least for myself, I've always wanted to be famous for something. I don't, something positive, instead of just being like a nobody. Because nobody wants to be a nobody, right?
I don't. Yeah, Sean, you're not a nobody though. That's you got a lot going on. If being fame, let me tell you, fame isn't all it's cracked up to be. I've been around some people in the business, and they're not happy. I mean, they're famous, yeah. They got money, yeah, but a lot of them
Not
still aren't
happy.
happy.
You're right. You're right.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying, I'm trying to put a positive spin about it without having an ego, because I don't have that much of an ego. A lot of people who are famous have a big ego, and I understand you got to kind of protect your brand and whatever, because that's a saying I hear a lot, about, oh, protect your character, protect your brand, protect this, blah blah blah, blah. Take no mercy, blah 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 blah. No, I just want to. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm starting to sound like I have a big head, but I really don't. I just want to leave. I want to
Sometimes
leave a
the
legacy.
brand is two different people.
Yes.
Let me ask you something, Sean. You just never know. This show, someday, people right. All you need is one right person to see this show and like what we're doing.
Yeah,
Will make us famous. That's why I always thought on Screaming Sam.
sure.
It'll take one person to like it. Man, I was invited. We were invited to do Howard Stern stuff. We were this. We never did it. I don't know why. I mean, you know what I'm saying? My thing was I wanted to be on Sirius Radio. That was the one thing I really wanted to do. Have my own Sirius Radio show. It never happened. But you know what? You never know. This show might. But let me ask you a question. If this makes it, you're going to invite us to be with the show? Because I'll tell you what. You might want to just say, fuck these guys. I'm doing it myself.
Honestly, if that ever did happen, God,
No,
I mean,
seriously.
I am serious. I mean, I know it might not seem like it because you never, it's not normal to actually appreciate the people that brought you to the dance, so to speak. But I would, if I had enough money or whatever to afford to actually bring us all together and for years to come, I mean, we don't know how long this show is going to last, but I never forget where I come from. This is makes it kind of interesting to actually answer your question, because I want to answer a question like this. Think about this.
Okay.
Why are we together right now? Because we're doing a show, right?
Right.
But why are we with all these random people that you didn't know prior to being introduced to everybody? Well,
Right.
all these people, in one way or another, have been in my life one way or another. All of you. You know, you all serve a purpose, whether it's been 20 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. All you guys have been in my life in one way or another. And I thought if I ever get to do a show and to host it the right way, I'm gonna bring all these people that I can that are been a part of my life in one way or another, and let's see what we can do. And you know what? We've done that.
Yeah.
We've already proven that we can do that. I feel like we're like a family, you know, and
Right.
all you guys are special to me. So it's like it doesn't. And I know maybe I haven't met Eric, and maybe I haven't met Sam in real life, and maybe Mikey either. But I met you through the internet.
I'm a hologram. It ain't real.
You know,
And I'm just special.
well, you're here because Bob, suggested that
That's right.
that
That's
you
right.
come here, and I took his suggestion. Normally, I don't take his advice, but I did. And you know what? And you know what? He was right. You're great.
Oh yeah, I think she's
You know,
fantastic.
so
Yep. That's like the Screaming Sam show. If somebody would listen to my podcast and say, I want this group, you don't think I'd go to my guys and say, hey, this happened. Someone heard the Screaming Sam show, not off this show.
yeah,
If they just listened to my podcast and liked it, I'd put
Yeah.
that group back together and do it. But
Sure.
somehow I'd work you guys into it, you know what I mean? To make
Yeah.
Renegade Radio, like I'm part of that too. You know what I'm saying? I would
Absolutely.
never leave you. Yeah, it sounded like it's a marriage or something like that. I would never leave you
Aw.
to go do a Screaming Sam show without the Renegade Radio. Because I love the Renegade Radio we all have a style. Like you said, we all did something. We're all famous in our own ways.
Yeah.
And we have a good gig here. And people tell us on our shows, this is a great show. But like you said, why isn't it really like, let's kick off and do this thing? You know what I'm saying?
Well, my thing, like I was saying, is just that if you ever wondered why I got all these random people together, that is why. All you guys are part of my life in one way or another. So
You
I
say
want,
that every time.
as
Yep.
my big thank you to you, I wanted to bring everybody together, and you guys all said yes. Some people said no. Surprisingly, an old friend of mine who I thought was going to be a part of my show, who was my best friend at one time, had no interest. In fact, he was jealous of a couple of you people, a couple of you guys, because of my friendship and how it's bloomed. How I'm not just in my own little circle anymore. I've actually expanded my horizons a little bit, thanks to people, thanks to you guys, especially.
Wouldn't it be nice wouldn't it be nice if we were saw and somebody saw us and we could start getting together and doing stuff like say we're invited somewhere where we all could go and get paid?
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the ultimate
I
dream.
never know. It might happen.
That'd be nice.
I think it'd be cool to just walk down the street together and you could almost hear the beer bottles clicking together. Like, Warriors.
Yeah.
It's not about the money for me here. I'm not about the money here. I'm about the fun.
Yeah.
Like,
And we're
every
having
Thursday night, I tell my wife I'm quitting my job at the gas station. And every Sunday night, I tell my wife I don't want to do the radio show Monday. But once I come on the radio show, I love it. And she knows I love this.
Yeah.
I love you guys, man. We all interact on Facebook. We have fun.
Oh yeah.
We have fun.
And our guest Justin is here too. I don't know when he'll have to unmute his mic here whenever he's ready to
I
go.
saw his face for a split second.
Yeah, well, he wasn't ready yet. I told him about 7:00, so just kind of I
There he
said,
is.
Well, my
he's good with his time.
computer's telling me I have unstable service right now. So if all of a sudden I disappear, you know why.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. What's going on, Justin? How you doing there, sir?
Great. Excuse me. Howdy. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing great. Welcome to
Oh.
Renegade. Welcome to Renegade Radio. We're really happy to have you be a part of our interviewer or be our guest
Sure.
today for tonight's episode.
Well, Sean, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I want to go through to start the introduction. I want everybody to introduce themselves to you. We'll make it kind of quick, just to let you know kind of who our team is. So it's kind of fun that when we do stuff like this. So we'll start with Mama T here first.
Hi, I'm Mama T. My boyfriend and
Nice to meet you.
have a bar here in McIntosh, Minnesota. We do blues festivals. We do all kinds of different festivals, actually. He's a musician. His last album just hit the charts. I also do a newsletter out of the bar. And apparently I'm a co-host and producer on this little podcast called Renegade Radio.
All right,
Very cool.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Screaming Sam. I was a Sam
Hey,
Kinison
Sam.
impersonator. I was the #1 Sam Kinison tribute artist in Iran, and this used to be me when I was younger.
You know, coincidentally, I just watched the movie with Sam Kinison in it
Oh, really?
a couple nights ago.
Back to school.
Yeah, Back to School. Yeah,
Say yeah. But
I
my
love
brother,
Rodney.
my brother isn't here tonight. He's a wrestler. He was a wrestler in Pittsburgh, and he just made the Hall of Fame. And he wanted me to mention you to him. His name's
Wow.
Mad Dog. His wrestling name. And
Mad Dog, huh?
He just got the. What do you get, guys? It's
the Hall of
Hall
Fame.
of Fame. He
Yeah,
just made
back
the Hall of
when-
Fame with Bruno Sammartino and all those guys.
Wow, good
yeah,
for him.
so yeah, he usually he's on a show and he loves doing these shows, but he had to work tonight and he's like all upset because he wanted to get a chance to meet you. But I was his manager
Oh,
back in the day, and we used to have a lot of fun doing that. But you know, I own a bar in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for 30 years. I did this tribute since 1998, and I had businesses in Pittsburgh and everything. But yeah, now I'm on Renegade Radio, and I love this place. I love this show. Yep.
Well, it's nice
All
to
right.
meet you. Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you too.
Laura, go ahead, Laura. John Roberts, go ahead.
Oh,
Laura, huh?
that's me. Yeah, it's my wife's computer. Nice to meet you, Justin. I'm John Roberts.
Sure.
Over 4 decades of radio. I still do some radio, hockey, sports. I have a video podcast company now. I'm a racetrack announcer. I don't follow wrestling now, but back in the 70s and the 80s and 90s, when I first got in, back in the old AWA, then the NWA days, when everybody was coming out of the Twin Cities, and your dad, that era, I knew I
Well, you
had
don't
a
need
lot
to
of
follow
those
it now. As
guys'
long
home
as
phone
you followed
numbers,
it
'cause
then,
I'd
it was real
call up in the
wrestling.
morning. Well, yeah, right. And I'd call them up in the morning because they'd be doing a show in our hometown and we'd get them live on the air. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a great time. I'm up in northern Minnesota, like Mama T is. We're about an hour from Canada, and I'm right on the North Dakota border.
Wow.
So you know where we're at. Me and Mama T and Frankie here are all up in northern Minnesota, and welcome. This is going to be fun.
Thank you. Are you near International Falls at all?
Yeah, we're close.
Nah,
We're close.
well, a couple hours, 3
Yeah, that's
hours
close.
from here, probably.
That's close.
We're up in the western part. They're more in the central.
Okay,
But if you went an hour north of where I live, you'd be in Canada. It takes me 5 minutes to drive to North Dakota. So we have a river that separates Minnesota and North Dakota. So it's just right across the bridge.
I actually have family in Duluth, and my mom is from central Wisconsin.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting. Interesting.
Where's your dad? Where's your dad from?
It's from a little town called Quitman. It's in northwestern Missouri. There's actually 3 little towns:
Okay.
Burlington Junction, Quitman, and Fairfax. If you know where Maryville is, it's just north of
I just
Maryville.
spent the night in Missouri here about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was from a town that had 95 people when he was growing up, and now it has 63.
Oh, wow.
I was actually born in
There's a-
Wisconsin.
There's a
I didn't
big
mean to
sign
take so
when you
long.
go into the town that says Harley Race was born here.
Wow, well, that's awesome. Antique Man, you're next, dude.
Cool.
Oh, all right. Hi, Justin. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that.
Thank
It's
you,
Eric
sir.
Wilson. Eric Wilson Adams. They call me the Antique Man now. From the Dakotas and Minnesota, singer songwriter, inducted in the South Dakota Rock Hall of Fame 6 years ago, and still doing a few things now and then. But enjoyed this show. I'm really looking forward to hearing about your dad and yourself.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Nice to meet you.
And
Thank
last
you.
but not least, we got Mikey or Michael Massey. I call him Mikey because that's what he used to be called.
Yeah. Hey there. So yeah,
Hello.
I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. Locally, I've done a TV show called Mikey's Adventures. I was host of. Done some movie and TV work here and there, and some theater. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Nice to meet all of
I'm
you.
the host, co-creator, producer, whatever, founder of Renegade Radio. I'm the guy that got a hold of you, and it was
Mhm.
kind of an interesting way of how I got a hold of you because at first I did try Facebook, but I didn't realize how popular you really were after must have been from the Dark Side of the Ring episode or whatever. I don't know, just because of
Mhm.
your dad and everything. But you're building your own legacy too, obviously. With what you
Sure.
do.
I
But
try.
like I tried Instagram. I figured that'd be the last, that'd be the last thing that I'd try because I don't normally do use Instagram much. But I figured, well, if I can't get a hold of him through that, then I won't worry about it for now. But it worked, and it seemed
Well, I'm
like
glad we connected.
yeah, we connected pretty well, and I do appreciate you saying yes because we love wrestling. We love talking about pop culture on this show. We've had a lot of wrestlers on. We even had Keith Elliott Greenberg on the show, if you can believe
Oh,
that.
wow.
So it's kind of like a
Wow.
hodgepodge here of a celebrity endorsement, we'll just say, for the
There you
show.
go.
So we're honored to have you. For those that don't know, Justin is the son of the legendary Harley race. I mean, that's a name that everybody should know in wrestling and all sports. I would say it's a household name. What do you agree there,
Yeah.
sir?
Handsome
Oh, absolutely.
Harley race.
Handsome king.
You got that handsome after me.
I,
I
I was
wish.
just gonna say that.
I was going to say, like with all the photos and stuff that have been sharing and stuff on your Facebook and Instagram and all that. That's a lot of cool archive photos and stuff. Just kind of brings a tear to your eye. I'm sure sometimes just look at some of those cool
Yeah.
photos.
Well, I'm lucky enough that my mother kept everything from when I was a kid. And we just have thousands of photographs, whether they be professional or just, here, hand some on the camera and say, here, take a picture of us or whatever. And she kept every one of them. And no matter where she's lived, she's drug all these boxes and all this stuff with her. And knowing that someday maybe it might be useful. And sure enough, it is. Not just for us to look through them, but for to others, let others see how my dad was when he wasn't in the ring.
That's great.
He was a very kind, caring, gentle, loving father and hilarious.
Wow.
I remember when he
How
was.
long were your mom and dad married?
When?
How long?
Oh, 23 years. 20, let's see, 23 years.
Wow.
Well, actually, they were the longest married world champion couple ever.
Oh,
Most of them lasted about a year and a half.
Wow.
yeah. That
Yeah.
I
tells
mean,
you
because of all
something.
the traveling
Yeah,
and
that
stuff he
tells you
did back
something.
then, it was hard on the family.
Sure.
Sure, sure.
And do you have any other
I
siblings
mean,
at
they're
all,
rock
or
stars.
are you the only one in the family? Because I don't know a whole lot about
I'm
you.
it.
That's why we're trying to learn about you.
I'm it.
Okay, okay. Because I heard
Yeah,
heard
my
of a
mom and dad had one.
I heard of a Leland race. Is that a cousin or something, or is that
He uses my father. Leland is my dad's middle name,
okay?
and he just uses the name for publicity.
Oh, so but
But
not a
he's no
brother.
relation. No,
Okay, okay. I
nope.
saw
He's
that.
rat
And I was like, oh.
bastages.
That happens in the wrestling business.
And you
Happens
have
in
no
every
Does.
business.
and you have no control over that, I suppose, when people do that, or for
Not really. No, it's a
uh,
public name.
Yeah,
sure,
When you're a
yeah.
public figure, you
There's
give up a lot of
still
rights.
sure. Go ahead,
yeah,
Jeff.
there's still certain worldwide radio stations that are using shows that I did 5-6 years ago, and I don't get a nickel for it. I don't own any of the rights to my voice on that
Wow.
certain company. And it gets played back all the time.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sign your life away.
Yeah. With technology, copyright and registration has kind of gone out the window.
Yeah, it has.
So what was it like growing up with your dad gone all the time, like when you were in school and stuff? Like, did you know what kind of stuff your dad did? Did your friends know? Did you get a lot of flack from your friends and stuff?
Well, he wrestled 300 days of the year for
Oh,
the
wow.
Hell, he
majority
was
of
a rock
my
star.
childhood and teens, which meant that to be with him, I traveled with him, or we traveled with him. We had we had neat times at home. We had some great times, at our lake house and whatever. But a lot of the time we spent together was traveling. As far as growing up that way, I guess I didn't know any other way, so it wasn't odd to me. But what would have been odd if he came home every night at 5 for dinner? That would have been odd. So when I was younger, it scared me. When we traveled with my father, my mom and dad kind of had a little code, and is this going to be a wrestling match, or is this going to be a bloodbath, or is this what's going to happen here tonight? And obviously, if it was going to be violence and chairs and whatnot, my mom and I go to the movies or play miniature golf or something, and go pick him up after the matches. But that's not always how it goes. Sometimes matches, even that are supposed to be technical wrestling matches, turned into bloodbaths, and I was there, and I screamed and yelled and cried and everything else because my people hitting my father over the head with chairs and bells and anything they could find. And back then, of course, they didn't have mats around the ring. You got body slammed or suplex back then. It was on the concrete.
Was
And
there
they
a
were
lot of
real metal chairs.
Started it too.
was that a
What's
lot
that?
of was there a lot of theatrics involved in all that? I know it turned into that later on, but then was it planned? What they
Not
did?
necessarily. I mean, my father was the ring general. What he said went, and he decided what was going to happen. And if it started going awry or started going in a way that he didn't want it to go, he'd put them in a headlock or a bar arm bar or something like that, and lean down next to their ear and say, "Don't piss me off." And they got back on track.
So you're
Um,
saying so it was a routine, and if they broke the routine,
Not
he would get
necessarily a
upset
routine,
about
of just a way a match would go. What things pleased the crowd most? I mean, everyone wanted to see my dad go flying off the top and hit with a flying headbutt.
it.
They
Right.
wanted to see Flair try to put a figure
Wait,
four on someone. And there was just things that people wanted to see, and he made sure they
these
happened.
guys, yep. I mean, they basically got paid to beat each other up, but knew who
Oh yeah.
was going to win. I mean, they really did. They're total athletes. When they
Well,
bled,
and
that was
sometimes
real blood. I mean,
sometimes sometimes the promoter would go in and say, Harley, I want you to take this one, and then he'd go in the Terry Funk, Dory Funk, somebody else's locker room and say, "Hey, I want you to take this one," and sit back and see who won.
Wow.
So they back
yeah,
then they really
and
beat the heck out
that's
of
the
each other.
dirty part of it. Yep, that's the dirty part of it.
But yeah, what you were talking about, blood and all that stuff, that's when I'd cry. I'm 6, 8, whatever years old, and I see that happening to my father. And as I'd go in the dressing room afterward, he'd be okay, and I'd check him out. And he would,
Well, you look at
after I got a little bit older, I kind of started figuring out that he wasn't going to die.
Right.
He wasn't going to die.
You look at their foreheads, it's all scar tissue. You could basically tweak them hard enough on the forehead after a while and probably draw some blood, and they're sweating.
He could just hit himself. He just hit himself like that.
Yeah. But I mean, it was all real. And these guys, you can't tell me they didn't take a beating, because you look at the injuries you get doing that. It was these guys were, and that was part of the downfall too of a lot of them, because the show must go on. Even though, like today's sports now, back in the day when concussions were nothing, they were nothing. Jack Youngblood played a game in the Super Bowl with a broken leg or whatever, and that doesn't happen anymore. Now there is concussion protocols, and these guys from that era, now they're all dying because they got the shit kicked out of them 5 nights a week.
Well, two things. One, the last back surgery that my father had, and 3 hip replacements and knees and everything else, but the last back surgery he had, the surgeon came out after after he was finished and said that he could have done that surgery at Home Depot.
No way.
Drills and metal and screws, and
Jeez.
they basically put him on a hardware table and put him back together as best they could.
So he was RoboCop.
He what?
RoboCop.
He's like a robot.
I always used to kid with him when I was younger. When he'd keep getting artificial things put in his body, I'd say, "Well, one thing about you, Dad, excuse me, one thing about you, Dad, in 1,000 years, when they dig you up, most of you still be there."
Oh,
Yeah. You're ready to
Fun.
go
Hey,
again.
there's Harley.
Yeah.
I'm missing one
Alive.
thumb.
But
I
he'll
can
terminate with
imagine
us.
your mom, as a mother's standpoint, I can imagine how hard it had to have been for her trying to decide whether to take you there
Oh
or
yeah.
to take you to the
I mean,
movies, because she never knew. She didn't want to traumatize you. And I'm sure
well, they did their best, and I think that they did fine. I mean, they did great. They did their best. I mean, that's a sport where, just because, you're wrestling a Jack Briscoe or uh, uh, a real technically wise wrestler. Jack and Jerry Briscoe were like national champion and NCAA wrestlers.
Yeah.
And, but still they get outside the ring and adrenaline kicks in and they just ask someone to get up out of their chair and fold up the chair and turn around and hit somebody else with it. Hit the other guy with it.
So when I know a lot of the wrestlers travel together because I've been at matches where they kick the snot out of each other and then they all hop in the same van at the end of the show and take off. Were there other kids of wrestlers that you got to be friends with, or were you always usually on your own? I mean, were you at the Best Western poolside, or how did that work?
No, I would say I grew up with a bunch of uncles. Because I would hang out, except for when Dad went out to the ring, I'd usually hang out in the dressing room with him and the guys. When I was a little boy, I mean, I sat on Andre's lap and he'd bounce me up and down. I'd darn near hit the ceiling. And all these guys were just when I got older and I was in sports myself and I'd get hurt and I'd come, and see him at a show. How's the knee doing? That kind of stuff. So
That'd be
they
awesome.
were all very gracious to me. They were all really respected my father, and so that by by definition, I guess I kind of got that kind of treatment too. A lot of fun though.
Okay.
A lot of fun. In WrestleMania 3, Dad was wrestling Junkyard Dog, and Jake the Snake Roberts was there, and his co-partner for the evening was Alice Cooper. So he went in their dressing room. There's just snakes crawling everywhere, and my dad knew that JYD was deathly afraid of snakes. So he went in there and grabbed one of those pythons and put it up around.
Oh boy!
Went up behind Junkyard Dog. He was sitting there looking into his locker at his dressing area there, and Dad went up and he's butt naked. And Dad went up with the snake's head this big around and tapped it on his shoulder. He turned. Harley, I've never seen a 300-pound naked black man move so fast in my life. He went running across the dressing room. My dad's running after him with the snake. And it was crazy back there. So, yeah, that's where I was. That was where the fun was.
That's funny.
That's funny.
But as far as, getting in, beating the heck out of each other, then getting into the same van or whatever, like you mentioned, there's linebackers in football that would just as soon knock Patrick Mahomes out of the game when he plays, or Bledsoe or whoever. They want him, they just soon knock him out of the game. But then after the game's over, they go have a beer.
Right.
They're
Yeah,
friends.
maybe politics is like that too.
What's that?
Politics is like that too.
Yeah. Yeah. You wonder how the heck these people do it. I mean, that's one thing that I do understand, like politicians calling each other names and then going and shaking hands and having coffee.
Yep.
I understand that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're all human.
Leave the work in the ring.
Yeah.
Or as close to the ring as you could get.
Which is should be like that, right?
Half of my father's matches were more out of the ring than in.
Yeah, he seemed to be a fairly brutal competitor at times. I like the hardcore style of wrestling because I watched a lot of ECW and WCW and I like when they use blood and stuff like that and all those things. But I'm sure even you watching your dad get hit with weapons and stuff, you were probably asking the question, why are they allowed to hit you with certain things or whatever? When I thought it was supposed to be a wrestling match, not a street fight or whatever.
Yeah, but again, when you don't know any different, I mean, that was wrestling.
Yeah.
The chair's going to get, the old, not old, still the same, the NWA title belt.
Yeah.
The one that Dad carried for many years, and it's in a museum now, has a dent. We know where the globe is in the middle. It kind of protrudes, three-dimensional globe. It's stainless steel. It has a dent in it
Yep.
from Flair hitting my dad over the head with it
Wow.
in the stainless steel.
Hmm.
So
Crazy.
hard-headed dude he was, but
Are you hard headed?
You know-
no, not at all.
You wrestle at all, Justin?
You know, we
I'm sorry,
Go
John.
ahead.
Do you wrestle, Justin?
Yes, I did. I started when I was about 7 years old, just before I turned 8, at 43 pounds,
Oh, really?
and wrestled all the way through
Wow.
high school, won state championships and national
Oh,
championships.
cool, man. Cool.
They had they used to do in like Pro Wrestling Illustrated was the real big magazine back then with Bill Apter,
Sure.
and they'd do articles on my dad and I, state champion and world champion or whatever. And they did
That's awesome.
they did a lot of articles about us, following both of us in our sports. So that's again back to when you were talking about all the memorabilia and pictures and all. Imagine having kind of like the paparazzi, but they were real nice.
They were
After they
different.
take your photo, they'd ask you if you wanted a copy type people,
Oh, okay.
or do you want the negatives of this roll of film I just ran on your wrestling match?
Wow.
And so, we get thousands and thousands of pictures, a lot of them professionally taken, that they were just there and we were there.
Oh, that's cool. I suppose
Right.
when you started your wrestling journey, or professionally or whatever, I suppose was there any
Oh,
jealousy?
mine was collegiate wrestling.
Also, never like pro
No,
wrestling.
no, I never wrestled.
Okay.
No, my mom and dad kept me away from pro wrestling.
But do you think that even in high school wrestling or elementary, like something we have around our area here, that because of your last name, that there may have been some favoritism at all?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was probably the only 8-year-old kid that got jeered in the gymnasium.
Oh,
You know how they have like little kids wrestling, they have like 8 matches going on at one
yeah,
time in the
like
gym.
Rob Robinson.
Whenever I wrestled, everyone would turn their attention to my match, and everyone would scream and yell at me and root for the other guy, whether they knew who him or they just want to see someone beat, Harley's son.
Uh-huh.
And I remember looking up at him, why are they yelling at me, Dad? And he said, oh, it's all about me. Forget it. All right.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
We're dealing with
Yeah.
wrestling royalty anyway, because no matter what, I mean, you be a second generation, and you see what happened with Cody Rhodes. If you follow that story, I mean, it's
Mhm.
kind of interesting
Yeah,
how,
Cody.
second generation superstars, some go really big, and some don't. Some just disappear into the spotlight, kind of, or whatever. But you never never tried it at all.
Well, my parents, like I said, kept me away from it because, especially back then, it was way too hard on the family and the body.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
father would always say, why do you want to end up like me, gimping around when you're 45, 50 years old? And, and then being away, like I said, 300 days a year, he missed things that he didn't want to miss of mine, those little momentous moments that you go through in life. And he couldn't be there because he was traveling.
Wow.
And they didn't want me to have to do that with my family. So my dad said, use your head. You got a good head on your shoulders. Go to college, be good in business. Of course, I didn't listen. I tried to be a pro. I went to Division I college for football.
Oh,
When did
And
your
I broke my neck when I was a sophomore in high school, coincidentally in a wrestling match. And by the time I got to college, they had me turn my head, which I can't turn it very far. So why can't you turn your head? I just been working out trying to cover it up. Sure enough, they threw me in a CAT scan machine and found the calcium deposit in my third vertebrae and said, you're done playing football.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
So that was that.
Sucks. That sucks.
Well, Forrest Gregg was the coach of the school. I went to SMU in Dallas. And Forrest Gregg was known to Vince Lombardi as the toughest toughest player he ever coached. And Forrest Gregg was the one that actually pulled me into his office and said, Justin, I'm very sorry. You can't play football anymore. So that was pretty rough. I really wanted to do that. Grew up on a golf course. My dad told me to play golf, that you can make a lot of money doing it, and you can do it until you're 90. But when you got my dad there as your role model, it's like, no, I got to play football and wrestle and beat people up.
That's right. So
it's kind of hard to tell a wrestler's son to play golf.
So what did you end up doing for a living then, after all that stuff?
Oh, I've been senior sales manager for different companies. I do a lot of investing and trading. I've done lots of things. Written articles for an international news magazine.
Oh,
So
Oh,
yes,
wow.
I've used my education.
well, that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
And
Speak a
you
couple
know,
languages.
I mean, that's kind of interesting because you took a different path. I mean, probably because you had
Well,
to,
I
but
knew when I was a kid I was never going to fill his shoes, so I might as well try
yeah,
something different. Hence
make your own
football.
legacy. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
I
Well,
think
that's
he'd be
cool.
proud
You
regardless,
know,
or he was proud.
I
Yeah.
Hey,
I haven't seen it yet, but and I can't believe I haven't seen the episode of the Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh,
But how was that for you to do? Because I really like that show because I mean I know all of those. I think every episode I knew all of those guys and a lot about them, but I haven't seen this one yet, and I can't believe I haven't. But
you should
how was
watch it.
that for you to do that? Were they pretty cool to work with?
Yes, Vice did a wonderful job, from beginning to end, from the initial pitch of doing the show to us, to my mom and I, to its completion. And even after that, we still maintained contact with them. But they did a really good job. They well, it's called, they say it's the dark side of the ring because it's like this evil thing, or the evil part of a person's life. It's not all that. It's more or less the lights are on in
Oh,
the ring and they're not on the outside of the ring. So the dark side of the ring is
the stuff
outside.
you
What
didn't
were they
see
like at
20 years
home?
ago when they were wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you guys have seen endless tapes of my father wrestling, but you don't know what he looked like at Christmas morning when I was 9,
right.
opening
Sure,
presents.
sure.
That time,
Right.
just him. I
Yep.
Sure.
posted a picture
Yeah.
today of me as a little guy, I don't know, 4 years old, 5 years old, something like that, driving the boat with my dad sitting behind me on the backrest of the driver's seat, and he's sitting there with a beer and sunglasses and just
Having
having
fun.
fun. Just
Yep.
dad.
Well, that's what I was
He's
saying.
always just been dad.
Those photos just they're so good, and it's just like I mean, you should try to get them digitally remastered or whatever and see what they look like in today's
Oh, they have been
world.
actually.
Oh,
We
okay.
just received Vice remastered all the ones that we sent to Vice. They put them on disc for us.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was real nice of them to do. It's good to have
Yeah.
the original copies too, though.
Oh, absolutely.
A
Hey,
photo you
Absolutely.
can
Justin.
hold in your hand, and that's a little bit yellow on the edges, and
Sure, sure, sure. Go
that's
ahead.
priceless.
Hey, Justin. So I don't get my ass kicked from my brother. I'm going to show you a picture of my brother. I don't know if you can see that or not. He sort of looks like Steiner.
It's Scott
Oh, there
Rick.
we go. Now, right when you stop, right when you went off your camera,
Yeah,
he
he
was
does
just
look like Scott
getting in
Steiner.
focus.
That was my brother,
Okay.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Wow. Well,
He's fun.
my
He's
dad
funny
started
too.
one of his first names was Mad Dog Race.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Tony would have a blast with you then. My brother Tony would have a blast with you. Mad Dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Dad was Mad Dog back in the 60s, some point in time, way before me.
Yeah, see, his brother, Mad Dog, kind of resembled Rick Steiner a little bit because that was one of his heroes back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
Wasn't he known as the Great Mortimer too?
Mm-hmm. Wow. You know your
Where did that
history.
come from?
Yes.
Yeah, she does the
Mortician?
research. Mama T does the research, I tell you.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
He was
But
also Jack Long. He wrestled under these different names. He even wrestled in a mask once, or for a while, and he wrestled under Jack Long. When he stopped all that, his father, he was talking to his father one time, and his father said, "Why do you want to make a name for someone else?"
sure.
And he went back to Harley Race, and then he was Harley Race. Then the Japanese are actually the ones that gave the name Handsome back in the 60s and 70s. This 300-pound bleach blonde guy walking around Japan was quite odd.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot
did
of
he,
they'd
was he,
never seen Americans before, even on TV. I mean, you're thinking it's only 20 some years after the war, World War II.
Sure.
So it's him walking around
when you were
25 years, him walking around Japan, big old guy, a foot taller than everyone else, and twice as wide. And they gave him the name Handsome.
7 times heavyweight champ.
8.
8?
Mm-hmm.
We better fix
Yep.
that. We better go to IMDb and fix that then. So other people
Does it say
doing their
7?
research don't sound like an idiot.
I do a lot of
Seven.
Googling in myself and my dad, but I will, I'll look that up. IMDb, huh?
Yep.
That's odd.
You were talking about the dent in the belt from his head,
Uh-huh.
and handsome Harley, he would spill a little blood back in the day, but when you talk about a big blonde dude or whatever, was he sporting a perm back in the day? Because his hair was curly as hell, and yours
No,
doesn't
he
look
had a
anything like it.
Well, he had a veritable afro. He did.
Okay,
He used
okay.
He has the
That's
pick, and
what it
I'll
looks
pick
like.
to prove it. He used a pick to do his
Okay.
hair and everything. My hair gets
All
curly
right.
and wavy, but it doesn't. No, it's not that curly. But I keep it short enough to where it doesn't.
Sure.
But yeah, that was one of the ways he got when he finished wrestling, and all the fans would wait where the wrestlers came out. They'd want to either cheer for him, or and if you were leaving someplace in the Carolinas and he just wrestled Flair, they'd bring police. They'd have police around us, like with the riot shields over us, because people were throwing stuff at us, throwing rocks
Yeah.
and knives, whatever they could find, throwing at an 8-year-old kid and his mother.
Oh no.
But he'd sit back there with that pick and mess with his hair for hours, waiting for the people to get bored and go home.
Well, I had a question for you. I don't know. Did you see the Iron Claw film at all?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
I thought it was a great movie. Yeah,
So,
I thought it was just yeah.
have it on
Anton
Blu-ray
did a
here.
great job.
I haven't watched it
There
yet
you go.
because I just got it on disc. But do you think they'll ever do a film about your dad at all? Kind of like the same
I don't
forum?
know. I think it's possible. Stuff definitely material for more than one film or a mini series or something. But yeah, I would like to see that. Incidentally, Kevin Anton, who played my father in the Iron Claw, did an excellent job.
Oh,
I was watching that movie, and I mean, it was like looking at my dad.
sure, it's like taking you
Wow.
back to a better time.
That's nice.
Well, one thing
Well, I
that
mean, everybody says I look like him, but did a good job with Kevin capturing that kind of stern, grim look.
you kind of have that Anthony Michael Hall look going for you, from Weird Science, Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I know you're
That's what I see anyway.
That's
talking.
That's a compliment, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I was gonna say, when I got to get to know your dad, as far as when I was a kid, was watching WCW back in the late or 90s or whatever, when he was managing Vader. And did you hang out with Leon much at all growing up at all, or?
Interesting story about Leon. I mean, yes, I did. In fact, Leon was not allowed to sit at my dad's house because he broke all the chairs. But when I graduated from college, I went to exchange program in Japan. Went to university in Japan, and I was there near Osaka. And I read in the newspaper that there was a show coming, an American show coming through, where the Americans were going to be on tour, and Leon was going to be there. So I showed up at the arena, and I, looked. The Japanese people looked at me and was like, "Geez, yes, you are your father. No kidding." So I got back in the dressing room, and Leon, he looked around. What the hell are you doing here? And I said, I go to school here. He's like, all right, we're going out tonight. So we went out. Well, that initially first we had to wait there at the arena because he had to get a special cab in Japan because he didn't fit in the regular ones. And he sent someone out to get a bunch of beer, and we sat there in the dressing room and drank. And then we went out, and good God, could that guy drink? And enough to where we thought about 3:00 in the morning is a good idea to call my dad. Go in Leon's hotel room and call him. He said, "Hey, boss, guess who I'm with?" "Well, Leon, what the hell you call me this time?" And I said, "Hey, Dad." He was pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Leon, what the hell? He's supposed to be going to college there. What the hell are you doing? Excuse me. So yeah, that was
Vader seemed
he
like
got an
a
earful, but we were 9,000 miles away. So if he was that upset, we just hung up the phone, kept drinking.
What's he gonna do? Hop on a plane?
Yeah, well, Vader
Right.
just
Well, yeah, guess he could
Vader
have.
just seemed like an interesting guy all around. Like his story is interesting too. Like how he got started and and his wrestling life,
Leon,
and the tragic end,
Luke
and
Leon.
it's a incredible life that he lived being a wrestler and stuff. And
Yeah,
how did
cut too
he
short too.
how did he like become real good friends with your dad to that he would actually manage him?
My dad was the only one that had the guts to manage him. Leon could get mean,
Yeah,
and he and my dad tore apart a Japanese hotel room once getting into it,
Wow.
and they would have been arrested, but who they were. But
Yeah.
yeah, Leon was he was a kind of an adrenaline junkie. My dad used to say, like, right before he'd go out when they were announcing his name, he'd get like Leon would get like goosebumps on his arms, like that would stick up like a half an inch, like just all over his arm. He was kind of out of control sometimes.
Yeah.
Dad was there to keep him in line because, like I said, no one else had the guts to do it.
well, when he and Cats and Jack or Mick Foley went after it, I mean, what he bit like his ear off or something, and that's why his ear's missing because of that match. It was so brutal.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
geez, I can only imagine what when your dad was managing him, all the stuff that he would do.
Oh yeah. Well, he'd pull him, he'd pull him out of the ring or pull him wherever he wanted. They listened to my dad. I mean, they did. Even Andre. There's
Sure.
a Flair told a story here I saw on YouTube or something, someplace where when Flair was young, he watched my dad slam and suplex Andre in the same match. And Andre is 7'6" and weighed 550, 570. I don't know, depending on if he's just eating or not. And he went back and he said, "How did you ask Andre to do that?" I said, "Why the hell would I ask? I told him what to do and he did it." No asking. I'm not Harley Race. I'm not asking anybody anything.
Uh-huh.
So even Andre was kind of not scared. I mean, they were great friends. I mean, Andre was at our house a lot. Actually, he'd come in town because there's a store downtown that makes big and tall type clothes. And
Sure.
Andre, he'd come into town. Dad would take him down there to get clothes made for himself.
How could you afford feeding
So
them?
they were
and letting
good
them
friends.
drink?
But yeah, Andre didn't want to tangle with him too much.
How do you afford feeding them? And like give them drinks. I already get drink, man. Andre.
Yeah, when the big show was in town, a lot of guys were in town. We'd have a party after the matches, and we lived in this house that had like a party basement. There was a dance floor and a bar and pool table room and media room and this and that, and it was 7-foot ceilings. Well, Andre's 7'6", so he'd kind of go sideways and work his way down the stairs to the basement. And there was the only two chairs in the house that he'd let Andre sit in were these old, the solid oak, like 3 people wide church pews,
Yeah.
solid wood.
Yeah.
He could sit in those. There was 3 people or 1 Andre. And he'd sit down. He'd finally get, he'd have to duck down like this to walk through to the basement. He'd get over to one of those benches and he'd sit down. "Justin, you bring me beer." And that was my job for the night. I was running back and forth to the refrigerator getting him beers. And Andre, you could barely see it. He drank 16-ounce tall boys. You could barely see the can in his hand. A regular can, you couldn't see at all in his hand.
I saw pictures of that. Yeah, that's amazing.
How much whiskey
And
do
he
you
drank
drink?
well over 100, 120 of them that night. The one night that I remember.
When they say you could drink a couple bottles of whiskey or a bottle of whiskey or something, they could drink like a.
At WrestleMania 3,
like
he
5,
wouldn't
6,
ever
8
eat.
bottles of wine.
Yeah, during WrestleMania 3, Dad told him to come, sit down and have breakfast with us, but he ate alone. And he drank 11 bottles of red wine with breakfast.
Wow. I drink a
And then
glass
that
and I'm drunk.
Well, Andre was in a lot of pain. That's what a lot of people don't know is, I mean, obviously he had health issues, being that big and that giant, but his body actually, his back stopped growing, his spinal cord stopped growing before the rest of his body did. So he was in immense pain a lot. So he drank a lot to alleviate pain. But yeah, he drank more than any human being I've ever seen.
Wow.
I mean, twice or 3 times as much as any human being I've ever seen.
So I guess
He was a wonderful, nice man, though. Uncle Andre.
The last question that I have for you before we end this interview, and again, thank you, Justin, for just taking the time.
Oh, sure.
For being
Absolutely.
here. Hopefully we
Love you,
weren't
man.
too
Love you.
crazy for you.
Oh, no. I love the questions. I mean, if you don't love the questions, you shouldn't be here.
That's
Right.
right. That's right. What do you
Right.
want your
It's
what do you want
actually, my dad, just real quick,
Okay,
my dad always told me that it was more of an honor for me than for him.
sure.
We'd go out to dinner and you're just there, talk about school or football or whatever. And people were constantly coming up and asking for autographs. And, my mom was once like, geez, can't they just wait until we're done eating? And he'd say, he'd tell my mom, hey, that person paid for this meal. That person paid for your vacation we just went on.
I love it.
That person pays for my wardrobe. Those people watching me, if those people weren't in the stands watching me wrestle, we'd live in a tent. And so I grew up that way. He taught me when I got old enough to realize what I was doing. He taught me that no matter if someone recognizes you or me or whatever, give them their 5 minutes. Let them reminisce. Let them be nostalgic. Let them talk about watching me when they were with their dad when they were 10 years old or whatever. And let them have that 5 minutes and answer questions and whatever. Because you know what? They'll never forget that 5 minutes.
That's right. So remember, folks, you want to support us because all we're doing is drinking water.
That's right. That's right.
You are.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think that your father's legacy will be? Like for somebody who just doesn't know a whole lot about your dad, but was interested in learning. Like what do you think his legacy will be?
The toughest guy on God's green earth, but the man with the most integrity I've ever known.
Wow.
Well, that's just it.
If he
There
said
was no
something, if he told you you're going to
bad
be
dirt.
someplace, he was going to do it. Excuse me?
Yeah. There was no bad dirt on Harley Race. There was
Yeah,
no,
much.
remember
Yeah,
back
yeah.
in 1973 when he, there wasn't that. And you can't say that about a lot of the big old names anymore.
True. Very true. Yeah, he was a gentle outside the ring, a gentle, kind, loving man. Put it in kind of in perspective. When I was wrestling, when I was a little kid, one of my first matches I ever wrestled, a little boy came up and asked him for an autograph, and he signed it. He ended up being trapped in the corner of this gymnasium all day long, signing autographs. He missed all my matches, signing autographs. So after that, that was the time when he couldn't sign autographs. And I've never seen so much pain on such a tough guy's face when a little boy or girl or even a grown person would come up while they were at the wrestling meet with me and ask for his autograph, and he'd say, "Son, I'm sorry, I can't. If I sign one for you, I'll have to sign one for everyone in this building." And he just actually could see pain in his face for having to tell someone no.
Wow.
I wish more celebrities felt that way. Give them their 5 minutes when they get their 5 minutes, because they're the ones that are paying for our lifestyle, and not be so big-headed about it, but still give you the time, the parental time that you
The way it
need.
should be. The way it should be. Because he said it right.
Well, I try to.
They're the people who put the bread on your table.
Yes, that's why I try to respond, even if it's just a thumbs up or something. I try to respond with just about every. I mean, I'm a couple days behind, but I, carve out a couple of hours a day and go through and read and respond to every. And people tell me their life stories, and that watching my dad help them get through it. I'm like, God, talk about being humbled.
We appreciate you coming on the show, man. That
Acknowledgement
is
is
fantastic.
nice.
So yeah, I mean, that's what I always tell people when they thank me or whatever. The pleasure is all mine. I'm honored that you would have me here talking about my father.
Fantastic.
Thank
Well,
you.
we're just happy that you said yes, because I mean, you're what they call, even though you might not have wrestled like professionally yourself, but you're wrestling royalty. You're part of the wrestling royalty family.
Yep.
So
Well, thank
doesn't
you.
matter.
I appreciate that, and all thanks to my father.
That's right. Well, we appreciate
He's a
you.
great
We
man.
appreciate everybody for watching tonight's episode of
Thank
Renegade
you.
Radio.
Thank
Thanks.
you, everybody.
Thank you all. Thank
And
you all.
we'll see you next week for another great edition of Renegade Radio.
I love it.
Everybody, bye.